Mom got drunk and Dad got drunk at our Christmas party. We were drinking champagne punch and homemade eggnog. Little sister brought her new boyfriend. He was a Mexican. We didn't know what to think of him till he sang Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad. Brother Ken brought his kids with him.
Howdy, y'all. This is Jared. I'm here today to introduce y'all to the Lone Star Pat podcast that is title pending. We're not sure if we're going to stick with that, but that's what we have right now. A little bit about what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a podcast going about things local to our area and interesting things in Texas, right? So some of the things that I would like to get into would be Texas country music, barbecue, sports in our area, the emerging brewery scene that we have all over Texas, all these amazing people putting together great beers and everything in the state. County fairs, growing up, floating the river, fishing, hunting, all things Texas. Y'all, if y'all are listening, y'all know all about it. And hopefully y'all enjoy what I have going on. I'm hoping to get some really cool people on this thing. Just sit down, have a conversation, learn about people, meet some cool people, and go on from there. So enjoy the show. Tune in. If you have any suggestions, we'll at the end of the podcast, we'll send out emails and everything so y'all can get in touch, give us some suggestions and notes and everything else. So today on the podcast, I couldn't do the first one with anybody else. His name's Cody Gaspard. We've been friends for a long time, and he's one of the most creatively supportive persons that I know. And I think that goes kind of overlooked a lot of times, that not a lot of people support creative things and kind of out of the box things. And, you would be amazed at how many times I told people, I'm interested in doing podcasts. I want to do a podcast and talk about the things I'm interested in. And they're like, why? What's the point? What's the point? And exactly. It's what's the point. It's what's the point. And it's, to tell them just because I'm interested in it, it'd be fun to do and meet cool people. It's a good way to spend your time and learn and, everything else. So, like I said, he's been one of the most supportive people I've ever been around, and I couldn't do it with anybody else. He's a hilarious guy, real good friend. We've known each other for years, too many nights drunk together. I couldn't even begin to talk about him. So, Cody, how you doing, bud?
Doing just fine, sir.
Fine.
That's a big introduction. I'm going to have to follow up with a lot of stuff. I appreciate that.
No pressure. So, first of all, first things first, cheers, my friend.
Yeah, definitely cheers.
It's been a little bit in the works trying to get here.
No doubt.
Ooh, it's a dirty drink. That's a damn dirty drink right there.
What are we drinking?
That is Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey.
Straight up in a lowball glass with a
little shot of ice.
Just a little ball of ice.
That's a whiskey ball, my friend.
Whiskey ball of ice.
Whiskey ball. I feel like you're not familiar with whiskey balls.
I have no experience with them. I've seen them on the internet, but I don't have any special trays to hold my ice. I normally don't drink my whiskey straight.
So $6.99 Amazon. You can get you a whole tray of whiskey balls, and it'll change your life.
You can go to any kind of Target and get you.
Well, that's factually correct as well. So, anyways, man, in the realm of what we're trying to get into here, I want to talk about your experience growing up in Texas. You have done a lot of traveling around Texas, and I know
curricular activities.
Correct, and have been and done and all over the place. And one thing I want to start off with is the river.
Okay.
What does a river mean to you? When I say the river in Texas, hit me with it.
Heaven. Just whatever your thought of heaven is, whether it's if you're Jesus, God, Allah, Buddha, whoever, whatever happens to you in the afterlife, the place that you want to be, that's what the river is. Whether it's New Braunfels or Frio, one of the two, there's something extremely magical about being in the hill country. I don't know. Maybe it's the separation from everything, the pureness of everything. I mean, I personally haven't experienced a really bad time at the river, so I have a whole lot of memory bank added to good times at the river. So anytime someone says, hey, you want to go to the river, even if I can't go, even if I'm strapped or busy or whatever, I do what I can to go. Like my family recently we've been doing a thing called winter camping at New Braunfels. We get to go out there to a certain campsite, and there's no one else but our family and some of our friends. We have a full on out 30 by 30 washer tournament. My mom puts together all these goofy trophies and stuff like that. People win trophies just for being eccentric.
How long have y'all been doing that?
They've been doing it for quite some time. I couldn't tell you because they've changed different places. I remember always seeing pictures of them as a group out there. My one of my aunts, just see them out there all the time. But this will be I believe the third year I've gone, and it's gotten exponentially bigger each year. Like, I mean, last year when we pulled in, it was kind of late, or it was late in the evening. Pulled in, and we could read signs going down the road saying, "Welcome to winter camping." And you pull up a little bit, it says, "No children allowed." And you get the next one that says, "What happens in winter camping stays in winter camping."
So here's what I'm fascinated about that. And when you told me is y'all are making trips to the river in February.
Yeah.
Like, and there's nobody there.
Well, and luckily for the, what do you call it? The bipolarness of Texas.
Yeah.
Last year we got a sunburn there. This year, when we left on Sunday, it was 30 degrees outside.
Imagine that.
And the little cabin we were in didn't really have a heater.
Mm.
So I woke up with 3 blankets on top of me. Yeah. Freezing.
Yeah, it sounds like you can get that cabin for $30 a night in the middle of February.
Probably, yeah.
So
we probably get it. I think it's actually, with 4 of us in there, it's only $25 per person for 2 nights.
How many people do you have there?
I would say close to 40 or 50 people.
That's amazing.
There's one guy brings a big giant, like, when we talked about it, a friend of mine asked me how much I thought this RV was, one of those diesel pusher RVs, like Prevost almost.
Yeah.
He asked me, hey, how much do you think that is? I said, that's probably $200,000. He goes, that's a $500,000 RV. You look at, there was 4 slide outs, and they were all painted on the end. Like, it didn't look janky when it came off of it. You know what I mean? So you could tell it had a lot of detail to it. So he's like, that's a $500,000 piece of machinery right there. Mm. One of my uncles, I like to consider him a professional partier.
Okay.
He is.
That's a lot coming from you.
All right. Well, I'll tell you. He lives in Bolivar for half of the year. That's just where he resides with him and his big giant camper. And then he takes his camper up to Houston, and he's part of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Committee for another 4 to 5 months out of the year. Like, he starts, he stays up there, does all that. The rest of the year goes down to Bolivar and everything in between. New Braunfels, Go Topless Day. He hooked us up big time last year for Go Topless Day. Hugely hooked us up.
Explain to people what Go Topless Day is.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's nationwide. I don't think it's just...
Okay. I just learned, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they have one in Florida.
Okay. The same day?
No. It's different times of the year.
Okay.
Go Topless Day in, wherever. But it's basically a flurry, and I can't understate that enough. Like, huge amount of Jeeps and like UTVs, side-by-sides, whatever you want to call them. We all go down to Bolivar, which is on a very, very small strip of island off of another island.
Galveston Island.
You get on Galveston Island, get on the ferry, get on Bolivar Island, for those of you that don't know. And it's a parade. I mean, you park on one side of the beach, and other vehicles drive by all day long. You party all night long, party all day long. Like, however you want to do it, you can do it. And my uncle, like, totally hooked it up. Had a place for me. I came down there with my top and my doors on. I was able to take all that off, leave it at his place, go down to the beach. He had a PA set up, so we had music right there with us, whatever we wanted to listen to. We were right there at a intersection, so there was all kinds of different vehicles and people. And, I mean, people you didn't even know were going to be down there. I love how small it can be no matter where you go in Texas. Texas, biggest state other than Alaska. I can still I can still travel to Dallas at any time of the week and run into somebody I didn't know was going to be there. So the same thing with Bolivar. You can be down there having a good time and just, hey, what's going on, man? I didn't know you were going to be here, and just spark up a conversation.
Yeah, and you're not hard to spot.
It's easy to spot.
In a crowd. So
this place,
yeah. Those of you who don't know, Cody is full on dreadlocks down past the nips. Where are we at now?
Oh, dude,
we're mid sternum.
Yeah,
we're mid belly button.
Getting close to the belly button. I got a few close to the belly button right now.
Full on dreadlocks, full on beard. So you can spot that guy out of a crowd for sure. But that's awesome, man. So the family goes down in the wintertime. We've been doing that last few years. What about as a kid growing up? I know y'all had the camper.
Yeah, we had a pop-up camper. I don't know if you know what a pop-up camper is.
I do.
Okay, well, there's some people out there that don't.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, we had a pop-up camper. We would actually, my uncle he had a single cab Dodge with the cab over the bed. So my uncle, my two cousins sat in just the bench seat that's in front of that. And then me and my aunt and my other cousin Heather would lay in the bed of the thing. They had the mattress set up in there, had little chairs set up in there. Like, we hung out back there. Stupid illegal, like overly illegal. But it was easier times back then. You know, we'd put our bicycles on top of the pop-up camper, and we would all go out there early, get set up at right at Waco Falls on River Road, right at New Braunfels River. There's that one waterfall, a little creek cut in right there. We'd camp right there next to that creek. So as a little kid, you could hang out in the water there and it was safe or whatever. But, you know, you start to, I mean, just like any human being, you start to branch out, and we get out into the bigger river. And then, so what my cousins and my uncles would do is there was a rock, maybe 20, it'd be extreme to say 25 yards away from this waterfall, where tubers would come down, and unbeknownst to them, folks, I'm telling you right now, this is a coming from a river rat himself. If you go down a waterfall backwards, you're better off. Don't go down a waterfall front, because think about it. All your weight's on the back of the tube. If you go down forward and the water pushes the back of your tube, it's going to topple you. Just there's
a Texas tip for you right
Texas
there.
PSA right there.
But Cody, it's so scary going down backwards. I
understand. Do it one time, you'll never regret it.
That's funny.
That was always my thing. Floating the river was, for some reason, I felt the responsibility of monitoring the crowd that I was with. Hey, go in this way. I'm basically lifeguard of the group.
Well, that's a pretty common thing. There's always somebody.
You have to have that one, the caretaker.
Yeah, there's always somebody, because we've all been in there with when somebody's been toppled over and it's can get scary.
Absolutely. I mean, even for the lifeguard, it'll get sketchy sometimes.
Yeah.
The water will go from underneath you, and you won't know what you're doing. You'll have years where the water's running fine, and you have other years where you're walking half the trip. You know, it's just comes with the territory.
Oh, so what about the dark days? The dark days when you had to walk half the river because we didn't have any water.
Yeah. We had a time.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, man. It was for a while.
Yeah, you didn't look forward to going to the river because you're like, well, we can go up there, have a good time, go see a concert, go do this and this and that. But as far as floating goes, it's we're gonna just look past the floating part.
Who have you seen up there?
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Well, I know we're not gonna list them all, right? What stands out?
Oddly enough, not a Texas country band.
Okay, let me hear it. It was the trip in general. I had to put the entire trip into perspective.
We went up and stayed at a friend of ours' house that was right on the river. Big, nice, beautiful house. Like, it wasn't rinky dinky. It was all nice and new and pretty. And that night we went to Whitewater Amphitheater. We went there and saw Slightly Stupid with the Dirty Heads and the Expendables. Awesome show. Right up my alley. We left there that night, drove all the way back home, slept for a few hours. Next morning, woke up, 6 of us, got up. A friend of ours' mom took us to the airport. We flew to Denver that night, went to Red Rocks Amphitheater and saw Deftones and Incubus.
Come on.
So it was Slightly Stupid, Dirty Heads on a Saturday night, Incubus and Deftones on I think that was a Monday night in Red Rocks.
Yeah.
And that was pretty magical.
That's doing it up right there.
Pretty magical right there. it was the whole trip. That's why it stands out. But as far as like bands, one of my favorite ones was River Road Ice House. Went with a little group of friends from Alvin, and we saw, I want to say Wade Bowen was playing, but at the same time, Randy Rogers came out at one point and Cody Canada came out at one point and played with him. And dude, we had a nice little perfect spot on the line. You're all sunburnt. You get that little tingle. You got a good buzz going on. You're not drunk. I'm not a big proprietor of getting sloppy drunk. People enjoy it. People do it. I'm not going to say I haven't done it, but I can see like why it makes sense not to get so sloppy drunk, because you really get to experience a lot more things as the night goes on, instead of blacking out.
Why are you trying to bring logic into the conversation, Cody? That's just doesn't make any sense. How old were you when you first started going there and you really kind of memories reside and you're thinking, wow, this was the good times?
Thinking about it as a kid, you didn't think it was the good times.
It wasn't special when you were a kid because you went to the river every year.
It was because we got to the river, but it wasn't, in hindsight now, I'm like, man, I'm so privileged. Like, I'm so blessed to have that in my life. To have not only my parents, but my family, my mom or my mom's sister and everybody else, they wanted us to go to the river, like as a group and all this other stuff. Dude, man. I remember going there in diapers, really, being there in diapers, having them take care of you. I gotta say one part. There's the rock that they stayed on that was 20 yards from the waterfall. So my dad's and uncles would hang out there on the rock. And if people would topple over, they'd, help them get back to their tube. And then 9 times out of 10, they'd hand them a beer. Oh, thanks for the help. Here's beer. When I had one of my uncles, he'd go swimming underneath there and pick up glasses and watches and, whatever you needed. Well, if a dry part came up and nobody's flipping over and they weren't having any beer, they would call for me. And what they would do with me, since I couldn't swim across the rapids, they were a little too thick, they would put a life jacket on me. They'd stuff me full of beer. They'd throw a rope from the bank to the rock. They'd pull me over, unload me, throw the rope back, and then send me back on my way. Like straight up beer mule for the river.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like
that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we used to do.
So that's a stark contrast for myself. I don't think I went until I was over 18 or 19 years old. First time I ever went. Yeah.
To any river, or just any Bronzeville? Any river.
I still haven't been to the Frio.
Really?
Correct.
Really?
I know it needs to change.
Yeah,
but I've been in the Bronzevilles 100 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been, but that's why I always go, because that was the first place I went.
From where we're from, it's 3.5 hours, 3 hours to New Braunfels, and it's easily 5.5, 6 hours, depending on a bigger group, 6 hours to the Frio. So
correct.
I can see where the Frio is a little further out of reach.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the first time I went, I was 18 or so, and I went with the folks and their party group, right? And shoot, we played. I remember going, floating, sunburn, sitting at the camp, playing volleyball for about 8 hours straight. That's back when we were doing nothing but playing volleyball, and it was win and stay on. Well, we never lost. And so that was my first trip. But since then,
I mean, that happens when you have a volleyball court in your backyard when you play relentlessly.
Wow. Yes, indeed. This is true.
Is this going to side stage this story for the next podcast?
Yeah.
I think we can sit here and talk for hours about the stuff that we've done, but
yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I have like a bucket list in my head of things that Texans need to do to be considered Texans.
Yeah. Even if you're not from Texas.
Yeah. If you want to be a Texan.
Yeah.
I feel like number one on that list is go float the river.
Yeah. And it's not, okay, go to New Braunfels and float the river. It's go experience the river.
Exactly.
Go do whatever you can to, by all means, go to Green Hall.
Yes.
I don't care who's playing there. It doesn't matter if somebody you
never heard of,
thoroughly dislike.
Yeah.
Even if they're there, go see it. Go to the town of Green. Obviously, I don't want it overloaded with people, which kind of, that's the problem with River Road right now is you ought to see all the construction going on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, crazy. Like little bitty tiny lots off the River Road right to the water, just all house.
Yeah.
Just all big, giant, big houses.
Well, since I've been going, it's changed 1,000%.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But that's just the expansion of Austin area, and between pretty soon Austin and San Antonio are going to be one.
Well, it's
big
every area
spot.
Everywhere is having to expand. That's what the universe does, expands out.
Thanks a lot, Michigan and Cleveland. Detroit.
Name drop.
Detroit. Yeah. So that's cool, man. Yeah. So on my list, right? I don't know let's make a list. So I got Floating River 1.
Oh, to be a Texan?
To be a Texan. I want a Texan list.
Okay. Then maybe I'm not a full Texan, because the only thing I just thought of in my head was go to Lukenbach, Texas. I've never been to Lukenbach, Texas. I've yet to go. I've yet to take a picture at the signature post office of Lukenbach, Texas.
That's disappointing. So
but I've had so many people go. I feel like I'm so connected to it. I don't necessarily have to go.
I've been through others. I was there in spirit all the time.
Yeah.
So we went and saw Reckless at Lukenbach.
Yeah.
We saw Reckless Kelly at Lukenbach while we were doing
that. What venue is that?
So Lukenbach post office is here.
Mm-hmm.
Across the way is like a wooden dance floor stage that's covered in tin and all, chicken wire and all that shit. And it looks, and it's just open, right? So it's not enclosed. So it's open, almost kind of like Green Hall is, the way it's not totally enclosed. You know what I mean? So yeah, we were there for Oktoberfest in Fredericksburg, which may be on the list. If we got a list of 20 Oktoberfest.
Yeah. I think
Fredericksburg.
You're the one that told me about that, and I think that's something that needs to be accomplished.
Maybe on that list.
Fredericksburg, outside October, which October is beautiful for Texas.
Yes.
And Fredericksburg is beautiful in October.
Correct.
Other months of the year, it's still just Fredericksburg. Wimberley is gorgeous, man.
Yes.
That'd be a dream to own some property and house and all that stuff there.
We stayed at a bachelor party in Wimberley and flow to the river. So the whole point of the bachelor party was stay up there, float the river for like 3 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed in a house in Wimberley on like 300 acres, and it was a stupid
blowout
$2 million house type thing,
Jeez.
Whatever, up on top of the hill. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, some of those houses up there
It was like 13 of us, and everybody had a bed and plenty of room. It was unreal.
Man. That's a good time.
Yeah, it was.
Because I think, you had a big couple $1 million house with 13 people. We had 13 people stuff in probably a $10,000 house one time. And that was one of the craziest trips we had. That one, if I think back to it, the trip that I'm going to name drop Jeff Birmingham right now, me and him took my mom's Tahoe up there to New Braunfels, stayed up there for, I was like 3 days or something like that. But dude, it was the craziest time. They had a band playing at one of the little bars, like right down the road from us. We had Jared Wagner was there, and they set up a PA, and one of the guys had a cajon, acoustic drums. They had that set up, and we were just all kind of just playing guitar, jamming, singing, doing whatever. There was people leaving the concert at that bar, walking over to our little deck we had. We had a nice little open area with a hill. They were walking over to just, what are y'all doing here? Oh, checking out the music. And Jared Wagner said they were just playing his heart and soul, and everybody just jamming out to it, having a great time, man. Yeah. We had other people staying at different houses or would come over to ours. Like, there was a huge rotating door of just people you wouldn't think you'd see, slapping the bag. Oh, yeah, good times, man.
Slapping the bag.
Wine bag out of a box. You had to drink it to get out of the water. So you're in the water and you can barely stand. Trying to get out of the water, you got to drink wine on top of all the booze you've been drinking. So I'm getting a little bit of mixed contradiction from you. Earlier, you were talking about how you don't like to get sloppy drunk, and it's not a smart thing to do. There's slapping bags. Hey, there's such thing as pacing yourself. So when you slap the bag, run inside immediately and drink your bottle of water.
There you go.
If there's any kind of snacks on the stove or in the fridge, go ahead and get some of that down your gullet.
Stay hydrated, folks.
Stay hydrated. That's why I drink my whiskey with water. You can say what you want about watering down whiskey and making it bad, but let me tell you right now, in my, what am I? Going to be 32 in July, I think. I think that's right. 1986. Somebody else do the math for me. The hangovers aren't as enjoyable as they used to be.
The hangovers hurt more than they used to.
A lot worse. Like, it used to be a car that hit you. Now it's a train.
All my rowdy friends have settled down.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I still like to be the rowdy friend, though. So I drink my whiskey with water, and I guess the no soda part helps with the hangover.
Tremendously.
And the no beer part helps with the hangover. Now, whatever shot you take, that's on you. Because you can drink all the whiskey and water you want. You have 1 or 2 Fireballs or some Irish car bombs, you're going to hurt in the morning.
Yes.
Just precursor.
And that's another Cody Gaspard PSA announcement.
Good gosh, I got enough of them. Start one of the PSA commercials.
All right. Back to our list, man. I'm thinking Brewster Street. And in my opinion, all my travels around the great state of Texas, Corpus Christi has the best Texas country scene.
I was right in the head with you. I was like, you got to at least go see Corpus Christi.
So, Brewster Street Ice House and Concrete Street Amphitheater are right down the road from each other. Brewster Street's right across the road from.
It's not hard to get anywhere in Corpus Christi.
Oh, not at all. And traffic's not bad. Whatever.
Yeah.
Great spot. But they have Badlands Radio down there. They have Landry's on the Tee, which the way they run it down there, Badlands has Texas country guys, whatever music, whoever's playing like Brewster and Concrete Street on Friday and Saturday, come to Landry's on the Tee on Thursday and Friday and play a little acoustic show and they interview.
Wow.
So when I was working down there in Aransas, I would go down to...
How long were you down there?
A year and some change.
And you lived in a camper?
Yes.
I came and visited once. That was awesome, though. Just the fact that you did that, like, you know...
Yeah,
that's a cool little venture.
Yeah, man.
Go live somewhere else in Texas for a little bit.
Yeah,
your line of work, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm not alone, right? All the pipeliners we got, all the windmill chasers we got, all
over the place,
all the turnaround chasers, all you working hands. That's what I do. So, I was a little over a year down there, man, and I would listen to Badlands Radio. That's where I heard about the Damn Quails. That's where I heard Turnpike Troubadours for the first time. That's where I heard, I don't think Cody Johnson was playing.
Whiskey Myers, maybe?
I knew Whiskey before, but I heard a lot more of their songs then.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, they would have somebody coming down. Hayes Carl. That was the first time I heard of Hayes Carl. And he's one of the guys I went and saw at Landry's on the Tee. He sat down, acoustic guitar, little interview, played the show. And Landry's was just like a regular restaurant. It wasn't crazy packed because there was somebody there. And and it's right on the water, beautiful, dude. And then you go Friday night and you go catch them at Brewster Street or Concrete Street. And one of the shows I seen down there was Memorial Day Music Fest, something like that. And it was Cody Johnson opening.
Wow, with
about 35 people in the audience.
Really?
Turnpike Troubadours.
So this is pre-Houston Rodeo, Cody.
This is 2010, 2011.
Oh yeah, this way his explosion.
There was no Kojo in sight. It was Cody Johnson.
No hashtag Kojo.
No. Twitter was just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So it was Cody Johnson starting out, and then it was Turnpike Troubadours.
Wow.
And then Stoney the Roo. And then Randy Rogers.
Damn.
And dude, freaking
what a show.
Blew my mind, right? So we got there early enough to see the whole group, right? And Cody Johnson put on a hell of a show. I went and bought all the CDs right then, back when you still bought CDs.
Just side note, Best Buy is getting rid of their CD collection. Officially, as of like a couple months from now, they're removing all CDs from their store.
Do they have a CD collection?
Yeah, well, they have a very limited CD collection, but they are expunging. I don't know if that's really the word to use, but they're getting rid of all their CDs from their stock just because digital download is, CDs it's dead technology. It's like VHS.
I'm sorry, Best
Kids,
Buy.
I'm sorry. VHS is video head cassette. VHS video head. What is it?
Yeah, I have no idea.
We don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Big black thing that went
big awkward
every time you wanted
to rewind it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, terrible times.
Fucking Ninja Turtles. So, sorry, Best Buy, but y'all should have done that just 10 years ago.
Wow. In hindsight,
I don't know who's still buying CDs anymore. But yeah, I still buy CDs.
Yeah,
but to support Texas country music.
Oh, if you're at a live show, definitely.
But
Vinyl's where it's
if
at.
they have vinyl, you
Vinyl's making
better
a
bet
comeback.
your ass I'm buying vinyl.
Vinyl's making a comeback.
Dude, I have like 7 albums. Not a vinyl player at all inside.
You don't have a record player?
No.
You don't at all?
No. I'm going to buy one eventually. I've been hoping my wife buys me one.
Hopefully this podcast takes off. Someone will sponsor you one.
Dude, I have like 7 vinyls, not a vinyl player one.
I haven't listened to one of them.
Yeah, I know. They're cool as fuck. Half of them are signed.
A lot of my very enthusiastic musician friends, or just people that are just happy about music, they swear by it.
Yeah, softer is the thing, right? It's supposed to be softer.
Is that what it is?
A warmer sound through the speakers. I don't know. This is what people say. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember where I heard.
I think the other thing about it is with a lot of artists like Tool, he doesn't release his music.
Maynard, right?
Yeah, Maynard. He released Perfect Circle, but he didn't release like Tool music on Spotify or iTunes or stuff like that, because he feels that if he has worked his ass off for an entire album,
you need to listen to
one to second 2001, you need to listen to it all the way through. You shouldn't be able to skip around. It's just like eating sushi. If they don't like you to take a bite of a piece of sushi, they expect you to eat the whole entire thing.
The whole thing. Yes.
I don't know if that's consumerism. I don't know what that is, but there's something to it.
Did you just cuss at me?
Consumerism. Consumerism is...
Yeah. All right, man. Back to our list.
Okay, to the list.
So we got Corpus Christi music. We got Lukenbach. We got Float in the River.
And that includes both rivers. You definitely need to go to Garner State Park is the one. You need to go climb Mount Baldy.
Okay.
It's not that hard. The trail is, it's laid out. Like, it's easy to see and easy to find. And if you just take your time, you can get up there. Anybody. I did it in flip-flops one year. I was a little inebriated, but I still did it in flip-flops. So it's not impossible. People that are like, oh, I don't hike, I don't do this. I think you should still go see it. I think there's something magical about going to the top. There's no mountains in Texas. There are only hills. Go on top of one of these things and just looking at the vast land and how flat the earth is. Oh, I went there. I went there.
Flat Earth theory.
No, it's
dude. Elon Musk is an asshole.
Super curved.
I can't believe he took that picture around Earth like a fucking round Earth shield. What a piece of shit.
Well, he said it was CGI himself. I watched the interview. He was like, it's just CGI, guys. Calm down. So I don't know. You can believe the hype all you want. It's all CGI.
Dude, that guy's got the biggest dick of them all.
Send my own car. I'm not going to send a cement block up.
No.
Not only am I not going to send a cement block up, I'm going to double the weight of the cement block. So I think it was 53 metric tons that rocket could push. Not only am I going to do that, I'm going to send my car towards...
What did you just say?
He said that rocket can push 53 metric tons into space.
It's the most powerful rocket of all times, right?
Well, it has to be, because not only is it more efficient than any rocket that's ever been sent to space by any governmental agency whatsoever,
Science.
He brought it back down and landed 2 of his boosters.
Like, we're going to reuse the bitches.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste $50 million. Yeah.
That's just fucking efficient. So that's where we're headed, right? That's where.
Well, that was in the interview. That was the question. Is him and this other company? I'm not sure. Bring that up, Jamie. I'm not sure. Whatever. I had to drop it.
Where's the whiskey at, man? Not to lose your thought.
I got 2 of these.
Oh, Jack Daniels. Come on, come on now, sir.
The question was, are you in a space race? Well,
the fucking Virgin Mobile guy.
Yeah, that one. I can't remember. It's not Bronson, but it's one of his representatives. And there's another space agency that's like SpaceX that are shooting towards space, quickly. I even read that they've got so there was a Chinese agency that was able to clone information on Earth and send it into a satellite at an International Space Station off Earth. They were able to send information like solid, touchable
particles.
Yeah, touchable particles. Obviously not like in paper form or anything, but the information of it was sent. And so they have that. They're trying to send information up, and they're also trying to send. They want to do like some kind of elevator thing. I heard. It's just internet, but
carbon fiber.
Yeah, some kind of like elevator. Yeah, just pick, handful of people up, take them up, and show them that the Earth is round.
I don't know, sir.
It's round enough. Jeez. Everything else around us is round.
What's the new thing the queers are saying is fucking triangle now?
They're saying it's a triangle?
It's a triangle, now? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now the flat earthers are saying, how the fuck do we get on fucking flat earth?
Oh, yeah. Well, we can get off of it. Back to Texas.
No, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. Whatever's fun. I don't care.
Whatever's silly. Just for the record, I, Cody Gaspard, believe that the Earth is round, circular globe. Obviously, I don't have any other evidence that's already been discussed and proven by science. Which last time I checked, 1 + 1 is 2, and math and science and all that stuff is supposed to prove that stuff for us.
They're all shills. This is it.
What do you consider a shill? That's the new Earth.
That's what it really looks like.
But it's there's nothing underneath it.
I think it's maybe a prism.
For those of you that are just listening,
it's a fucking triangle.
Brought up an image of planet Earth, horribly photoshopped. This is an actual image from people believe in
from the International Space Station. This is actually what the Earth looks like
from the International Space Station.
Yes.
Which International Space Station?
There's only one.
Guatemala's, because that is
the people that have never been to space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's good shit. That's good.
Floating people around this thing for how long?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Irrelevant.
People are crazy, man. Hey,
I think it's irrelevant. I think it's irrelevant. Honestly, yeah.
They can do what they want. I don't care.
That's what I've had to do lately on social media. Is you
say fuck it?
Well, no. You post an opinion, and if somebody wants to, what seems to me like ignorantly argue it on a very, very dumb basis, almost can't argue with them. Like you said earlier, can't argue the stupid. A sheep or a lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of the sheep.
Correct.
I posted. No, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You can't help people that don't want to be helped.
Mm-mm.
There's certain kind of people that have their opinion. Right, I'm stuck to it. This is me. This is who I am now. I'm now flat Earth guy.
You have to look at what people experience. I think that's the most important thing is experience. That's what you've lived through, what you've gone through, what you've done.
Agreed.
Not about what you're going to learn, not about the books you're going to read, nothing about that. It's what you've been through. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make it drink. I can show you all the information. It's upon yourself.
Fake news. It's fake.
It's upon yourself to adhere to that. It's totally up to you. I can't control. I don't want to control that. I have no desire to control that. And I think that's a big issue with what's going on in the world is control. I think people want to control something they can't control. I think you need to let go. I think you need to love. The way you need to love things is not trying to grip it so tightly. Because I think the tighter you squeeze, the worse it gets.
Yeah, people get cemented into their opinions.
Absolutely.
And it's what's wrong with a lot of things, man. I mean, so I've thought about this going into this podcast, how I'm gonna position myself in things, and where I'm gonna stand on this and that. But I don't have strong opinions about a lot of things.
Right. Not just strong ones.
Exactly. So I have opinions about where I'm at here, where I'm at there, but they're not cemented in. I'm always open to new information. Just because I've learned so much in the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Much less the last 10 years, much less since I was, 15, 16 years old. So
it's the information highway, man.
That's crazy. It's crazy. So
people want to curse the cell phone, but the cell phone is literally an extension of the human body.
Oh, you just heard me.
That's literally what the cell phone does. It extends your human body. So, I mean,
you care to explain on that? Because I'm not sure I agree. Okay. But I'm open.
Well, it's natural. It's more natural than you think. The cell phone.
Explain.
Well, there is mines in Japan that mine for a material called rare earth material. You can look that up if you want.
I believe that's
Jamie, pull that up.
I believe that's in South America.
It's
Or not
in
South America, in Africa, I'm sorry.
South Africa? Okay, I was
South Africa
I was
is
under the impression it's in Japan.
Japan is where I believe they put it all together.
All together.
But South Africa is where these minerals are mined, and they're killing a lot of people. It's like blood diamonds, right? So
it's getting to that point. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's there.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I haven't. I'm not super worded on it.
Okay.
In my intuition, my feel is, the human person is always desiring some new information, something new, something extravagant, something to spark your life, because, sometimes you have a monotonous job that you don't really give a shit for. And so you reach out for any kind of other outlet of brain activity, whether it's working out, religion, information, knowledge.
Here's a problem I think we run into, and I think you're right that people will search for things and do this and that. But what happens when they put all their effort into the wrong thing, such as flat Earth, such as, right wing, and I believe this and that, and then you put all your information gathering into a white supremacist guy, and man, this guy makes so much sense, and he's this and he's that. So I know what you're saying, that it's there for all your information, everything you want, but it's also a negative in the sense that it can be. If
you choose it to be. If you will it.
Well, is that just human nature? Some are good, some are bad?
I mean, absolutely. You have to have to deal with bad. It's yin and yang, night and day.
Yeah.
Like I said, pressure makes diamonds. You have to have the opposition to make something good come out of it. If we have to go through some BS right now, which it almost feels like, but at the same time, statistically, the world's getting better.
Yeah.
Statistically. As far as numbers go, the people are calculating the world is getting better.
Less murders. There's less people going hungry.
Well, less just straight up unnecessary dying. People getting sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a flu. Boom, I'm dead. Or, oh, I just got,
well, that's a tough thing. It's bad.
I don't want to touch the flu right now. Flu's bad.
A little
sketchy right now.
Yeah,
we don't know what's going on right now with that, but I don't know. I guess I'm just optimistic.
I've been thinking about this a little bit lately. What is your knowledge on the printing press?
Ask a question. Let's see where it goes.
Do you know when the printing press was invented?
1903. Way off.
Way off.
Just want to throw a number out there.
So
I don't know my instinct on that one.
I don't know an actual date. It's in the 1400s, I'm sure. Let me look it up real quick, just so
a quick little Google. Thank you, Google, by the way, because not only is it a reference that you can use, it's a great way to help explain things that are unexplainable.
1440.
1440 was when the printing press was invented.
Yes, sir. So
think about that.
Oh, I know. So here's what I'm gonna say, and a lot of people are like, "Where the fuck is he talking about? Fucking printing press, dumbass." Printing press was invented, and it was a radical thing. Radical in the sense that you could lay down a mass amount of information at one time and distribute it to the masses.
And that's all there was.
This was the first time in history that was capable. Any time before the printing press, anytime you wanted to distribute information on paper, it was handwritten.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only do so much. Now, with the printing press, you could print out 1,000 pages a day, 600 pages. I don't know what it was, right? But it was exponentially more than when you just had to handwrite it.
Let's talk about the information that was printed.
Well, that's okay.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm going with it. So this was the time of Martin Luther. He translated
14. You're okay.
1460. I don't know when
Martin Luther was not 1400s.
Yes, sir.
Martin Luther King?
Not Martin Luther King.
Luther.
Martin Luther.
Okay, my apologies.
Two different gentlemen.
Wow. Long time before. Okay. 1440 something?
Sip your whiskey, sir.
Wow. All right.
Sip your whiskey.
Continue. I'm learning.
So Martin Luther translated the Bible from Latin at the time into English and distributed it to the masses. Now, what this did was let the common man read the Bible. Now, if you think of the 1400s in England, all this good time, right? It was religious doctrine. The Pope had armies. There was all kinds of jazz going on at the time, and when he distributed the Bible to the masses that were able to read, all of a sudden, for the first time, they got the Word of God without priests and popes and bishops and the church, basically, right? So you got a radical movement. You got Baptists and anti-Baptists and all these people that broke away from the Catholic Church and basically saying that we don't interpret the Bible the same way that you do, right? Mm-hmm. You're saying that this passage means this, but when I read it, I don't see that. It means this.
A lot of that's language.
Lutheranism.
Read and read.
Yeah, read.
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, every word that looks, spelled, and sounds the same, but means different things. A lot of the numbers or a lot of things in Latin were symbols of numbers.
Correct.
So somebody was putting some information down a long time ago a certain way, and then somebody else came along and said, "Hey, I want my common man to be able to read it." I was going to get into that, but go ahead.
So basically, Lutheranism came about, baptism came about, anti-Baptist, all this. There was all kinds of crazy shenanigans happening in the 1400s. Listen to Prophets of Doom by Dan Carlin, Hardcore History. It's an amazing podcast.
Awesome podcast.
Amazing podcast. And he goes into depth on all this stuff, right? And, but basically, and the way I'm kind of steering this all back here, was the kind of society and the system and politics and life and everything as they knew it then was changed by the rapid distribution of mass information, is how I'm going to phrase that, right? What are we involved with now with the cell phone?
Extremely rapid.
It's
a little too rapid.
Introduction.
Yeah, it got
massive information.
It got hot fast, basically.
Yes,
like too fast.
And we're dealing with these ramifications. I mean, it's been 20 years since the internet came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 10 years since social media really took off. We're babies in this thing.
Oh, yeah. And we're already looking at AI. AI is here.
Well, let's
maybe not the I.
Let's stick to one thing.
Maybe not the I, but the A is here. Let me just tell you right now.
Let's stick to one thing right now.
Yeah.
Let's stick to humans.
Yeah.
I can't go into that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's
it's extremely rapid. Fortunately and unfortunately, like I said, you take the good with the bad. I mean, it can be as bad as you want it to be. You can sit there and dwell and think about all these bad things all day long, or you can think about it, optimistically and try to find the good in what is seemingly bad. If there's no fact that things are bad, okay, obviously mass shootings, yes, they're bad. Was it a mass shooting or was it someone acting out? Mental illness, all this. There's so many issues with it. You can't pinpoint one thing. And that's the problem is you have one group that says, like you said, you have one group that says one thing, another group says another thing. They're going to clash. That's just all there is to it. What you can do about it is, I would hope, what I want my fellow human and friend to do is try to think of it, as a good thing. Just try. You don't have to sit there and dwell on the fact that, like I was going to bring up, somebody made a statement that Shaun White stepped on a flag and drug it after he won the Olympics. I think that's terrible. What he did that for there's a picture. I have a picture on my phone of him with a flag around his neck and a flag in front of him with his family and friends because he just won gold after coming back from a terrible wipeout last year, or not last year, but
4 years ago.
Yeah. Last Olympics, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you've ever been snowboarding, but to do what he did takes a whole lot of work, like more work than any of us have ever put up, obviously, because he's the world champion.
He's in the Olympics.
He is the best snowboarder in the world right now. He put a lot of effort and energy into that, whether the money, whoever the money came from, whatever. He did a whole lot of work to make that happen. So him crying with his dad, crying with his friends, everybody cheering for him, all this stuff going on. He swiped it across the ground and supposedly, I didn't see it, but supposedly stepped on it. And now people are making a fuss about it. I don't think you have to make that fuss. Like, you are choosing to pick that battle. You are choosing to say, F that guy. You know, why he's doing something that I haven't achieved, and he is sliding my country that my grandfathers and my forefathers fought for, these freedoms for him to snowboard, you know. You don't have to choose that. You can say, hey, look, emotions are a little high. He was kind of not worried, but had a million things.
He's not thinking about the flag.
He's not.
He's not.
I know I wouldn't be. I'm sorry. I know the flag got me here, but I trained under the flag all day, every day.
You should be thankful that he is carrying the flag at all.
Yeah.
Because how many of them just pick their board up, they cheer, they whatever, go hug mom and dad, they go do whatever. He was thoughtful.
Scenarios
he was thoughtful enough to go grab the American flag and wave it.
At least say, put it over his shoulders.
Yes. And this is for America.
I'm sorry he drug it on the icy ground, but he didn't kneel in front of it. He didn't light it on fire.
It wasn't deliberate. And I
don't think it was intentional whatsoever.
And he's doing more for America than
anybody
every
knows.
Single person that is complaining.
We'll see how long the Olympics hold up after all this. What was it? The Russian doping
scandal? Oh, yeah. Fucking incubus.
Yeah, it's on the news now.
Oh, my God, dude. Did you watch that?
I saw they did it.
On the news channel, is that what you said?
ABC 13 did an interview with the doctor. Whatever the doctor.
Rogan Schloff.
Yes.
That guy.
They did an interview with him. I saw it at Hugh and Jeff's the other night.
Did you see the documentary?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I watched the podcast on it, and then I watched the documentary, and I was like, dude, that's so bananas, man. And if that dude's making up, he has nothing but time to kill to make that thing up. You know?
That's the Joe Rogan podcast he had with the director of that film, Icarus. I kept saying Incubus. Icarus, on Netflix. Well, dude, that was a hell of a show. And eye-opening. But it's one of those things there was always rumbles. Since the fucking 60s, the Russians are doping. Rocky IV. Dragov is over there shooting up with fucking steroids while Rock is in Russia lifting fucking stones and shit. You know what I mean?
No steroids.
No, not as clean as a fucking whistle, bro. Yeah. Sylvester Stallone never touched steroid in his life.
I gotta kill him. Sweep the leg.
But, dude, it's always been the thing. Russia's always been the big bag, ugly, whatever. It's, I don't know. We don't have to get on that, but it's...
I wanted to just add something on the...
Sean, what?
No. The exchange of information that we have now with our cell phones.
Okay.
Have you ever heard the Library of Alexandria?
No.
So I was trying to look at the date. I pulled it up my phone. 3rd century BC is what I'm seeing. The Romans and Egypt and all that stuff.
A long time ago.
Yeah. They built a library that contained all of the ancient knowledge of the world. I mean, from how they built the pyramids.
Where was it at?
It was in Egypt.
Okay.
The library, it says Royal Library of Alexandria or Ancient Library of Alexandria in Alexandria, Egypt, was one of the largest and most significant libraries of the ancient world. So it was this library way, way, way back in the day. The way that they handled information, and this was sacred information. This was literally how they built the pyramids.
Okay.
We, to this day,
still don't
no clue.
Aliens, but go ahead.
All this other stuff.
It was aliens, but
okay, there was some information that was written down. It was jotted down. Hey, this is how we did this. This is how we did that. There's a whole lot of it. They held information. You had to be royalty. You had to be stupid powerful, stupid rich to even stand in the presence of this information. If you wanted to walk into the Library of Alexandria, you had to be a high priest. You had to be the Roman Empire. You had to be something of high class. Okay. They didn't allow that to the common man. They held on to the tightest information possible. For what reason? Who knows? Maybe that's why cell phones aren't working out right now.
I can tell you the reason. The best way to keep mass of people suppressed is lack of knowledge.
There you go.
You can't let them learn, or else they will. Which is why I believe podcasts are so dangerous.
Well, and I mean, to add to that, the Roman Empire fell. A lot of they tried to chop people off and make people be slaves to them for them to be pursuing empire. For them to do what they wanted to do, they had to keep the people at bay. And that was one good way, is to keep the information out of the hands of people you didn't want to be.
Correct.
So what happened with that library was burned to the ground because people were like, I'm fed up with you not telling me what's going on. So they burned it to the ground.
People burned it down.
I don't know who burned it down. There's no telling who burned it down. I'm not going to even conspicuate. Give me a second to Google that. On who burned the library down. But the library was lost with a lot of ancient information and very, promising things that probably could have changed the world today. Easily could have changed the world today. But it was burned down because the information was too sacred. Mm-hmm. Somebody found it too sacred and said, well, if I can't have it, nobody can have it, or whatever it was, whatever the case may be. Now we're at a point where it's almost information overload. You can get on any Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and
Google.
The endless scroll. The endless scroll will kill you every time.
Thing you want,
whether it's right or wrong, though.
Anything. That's my point. That's my point. You go down the wrong fucking rabbit hole, we'll see you again in 6 fucking years.
So that's why I say, okay, I want, what as the saying goes, I want to lose for what I am to win for what I'm not. So what I am is a proprietor of positivity or, thinking right of things, making things, it's not that bad. Okay. It may seem bad. Seem positive outlook. It may seem detrimental. Doesn't have to be, they're like with this whole flood down here at Harvey and all that. I made a post about when my old deer lease that I used to go to outside of Kerrville, Texas.
Come on, Texas. That's what this podcast is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
When I think of that, we went there for Thanksgiving one year and we literally beat a flood. Like we got into our cabin and an hour after us, the roads were washed out because water flowed down the river and just washed all the roads out. There was other people from different deer leases around us that were trapped with us because you couldn't go across the water,
Yeah.
Well, it was detrimental. Everything, the roads were tore up and it was dark and grim. And are we going to get out of here? Like, what's going on?
In Kerrville, you don't have any power.
We had limited power and we had no source of calling nobody. There's no cell phone.
Yeah.
You had to go up to the top of this hill to use this landline they had up there that was spotty as all get out. So, all this pain and destruction. But that was Thanksgiving, November. When we went back over the summer in June, the trees were greener. There was no algae in the river, so the river was super see-through. There were some trees tangled up around some other shit on the side. Like there was some stuff on the sides, but the water was so beautiful. The greenery was beautiful. Everything was just like vibrant. It came back alive.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of with life. You sometimes some stagnant things or bad things or whatever, they get built up and you gotta just kind of clean the slate sometimes. Yeah, you gotta wash it off. Absolutely.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's kind of how I felt about this whole Harvey thing. And I'm not, I wasn't one that suffered, losing my house and losing my things. And I understand there's a lot of negative energy with that. I'm not trying to sit here and say that it was a good thing. Not what I'm saying.
No, that's not what he's saying.
It's not how I want it to be. If anything, I would rather you say, you know what, I don't want it to be like this. Let's just change it up. That's what I would want it to be. Let's just stick a nail in it and change everything.
Clean slate.
Yeah, clean slate. Let's start anew with all our resources and everything that we've developed over all these years. Let's just come back to a whole. Yeah. And I think everybody should do that.
So I was another fortunate one, right, that wasn't affected by Harvey as much, but we were right in the thick of it, man.
Oh, yeah. It was sketchy as all get out.
Dude, so for those of y'all who don't know, I live in League City, Texas. Cody lives in Santa Fe, Texas. They're all right in the same area between Houston and Galveston. And there, during the hurricane, I spent time traveling around, picking up friends that were trapped. I don't know any other way to explain it, right? So they were trapped in their home and they got out via boat, but then were dropped off, right down the road from their house.
Nowhere.
And Yeah.
dropped off to stand around.
Exactly. And so we were fortunate enough. I have a big jacked up F-250. Welcome to Texas, right? And we were able to get around town to a lot of places most folks weren't. And it helped out. But it was unreal, man. It was unreal.
It was.
We were down like I said,
dramatic.
We were down here in the thick of things, right? I mean, we were flooded all around us. We couldn't go anywhere.
You could drive, but you weren't. There was no destination.
No,
your destination was to get back home.
You could drive in a circle.
Yeah, because you weren't. Nothing was open.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that, man.
There was no resources. I mean, you saw Walmart, H-E-B, everything was sold out of water. Sold out.
Shout out.
I will recommend right now Berkeley water filters. I'm just going to throw that in there. That's what you need to get yourself.
You can get them on Amazon for $9.99.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's a lot better for you. And gets fluoride out of the water, so
I will give a shout out.
What?
Our Kroger's right here on 96, if anybody's familiar with the area on Lake City Parkway, they were open every day. Now, they didn't always have any and everything you needed, right?
But they were
more
open than nothing.
They were open every day, and they were restocked every day.
Yeah.
I was amazed, man, and it was super moving just seeing all the people there. Our friends that we went and picked up, and they lost the bottom floor of their house. They were on a bayou in Dickinson. And she had it's a friend of mine and his wife and their two babies. Well, a friend of mine, and she's obviously a friend of mine as well. I knew her before him, actually, but he works offshore and works on a boat. And he was gone.
Yeah,
and she was there with. Luckily, her mom was with her because they knew the storm was coming. Her mom. Came and
but her
stayed.
Dad was still at his house in Dickinson, which Dickinson got a brunt.
Bad.
They got it real bad.
Well, they're in Dickinson. They're in Texas City, quote unquote, but they're right off the Dickinson Bayou.
Yeah.
And so luckily her mom was with her, but she had a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old.
Yeah.
At this house. I mean, It was unreal, man. So after the flood and everything happened, I called her at 8:00 that morning. I said, "Are you doing okay?" And she said, "No."
It's knocking on my back door.
She says, we got 4 or 5 feet in our house. We're waiting to get rescued.
She was upstairs.
On the second floor.
Yeah. She was upstairs. That's right.
Yeah, she's on the second floor. So she says, no, we're not okay. We're waiting to get rescued.
This isn't cool anymore.
Holy shit. I said, okay. I said, will you keep in contact with me and let me know anything and everything I could do, right? And so I
fluff that F-250 across the freeway.
That's what I said.
Will. Yeah.
So as soon as I got off the phone with her, I called my stepson. I called my wife. I said, gather up all our stuff. We grabbed first aid kits. We grabbed blow up air mattresses, towels, ropes, everything, anything that could be helpful. We threw it all in the truck and we took off.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care what we got to do. We're going to make it to her. If I got to float an air mattress over to her to take them babies out, we're going to do it. Well, we drove around town. We couldn't get there.
Mm-hmm. It was impossible.
Roads were flooded.
I tried myself. It was impossible.
Roads were flooded.
You literally needed a boat.
Yes.
I mean, it was crazy.
So since we were out, we stopped by a few neighborhoods and we helped some people. So people were losing their houses, right? They were flooded out. And as they were coming out of their neighborhood in boats, we were picking them up in our truck and driving them to local schools or wherever the shelters were, churches, and so on and so forth. And at about 4:30, she calls me because she told me they got out of the house around 10 o'clock or so. They got out of the house. And around 4:30, she calls me and she says they were supposed to send a truck to come pick us up and they haven't. And I'm getting scared.
Yeah.
And she says, because they moved her like 500-600 yards from her house.
Mm-hmm.
And so her house was flooded, but 500 or 600 yards from her house wasn't flooded. And now it's starting to get flooded because rain hasn't stopped. She says, I'm getting scared. Is there any way you can come get me? I'm sorry to ask. I'm like, I will be there in a heartbeat.
Hell or high water.
Yeah. So I was in the middle of, I grabbed a family from a subdivision. I took them over to a house and they said, is there any way you can go get our parents? They live, right down the road. They're fine. They're not flooded out or anything, but we just want to have them with us. I said, okay. So I went to grab a couple of the guys or whatever. There was like fucking 10 or 12 of them, man. I mean, it's crazy. That day of picking people up, I'll never forget. But grabbed a couple of the guys. We went over to mom and dad's house, right? And we waited for everybody, or waited for them to gather the things and this and that. And that's when she called me while they were inside gathering grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I'll be there as soon as I can. I'll be there as soon as I can. Well, grandpa comes out and he's not paraplegic, but he can't move. He's in a wheelchair.
Not mobile.
And turns out he told me a little bit of the story, but he played the NBA in the 60s.
Holy shit.
So he's like 6'5", 6'6".
He's not a little fella.
But his back and knees don't work.
Yeah, obviously.
So
we put all that pressure on it.
Exactly, right? So he's got a lifetime of playing basketball. I think he was in the Olympics in like 58 or some crazy shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he had a cool story. But so he's in his wheelchair and I'm in a jacked up F-250, no steps.
Yeah.
And I had to do this several times, but I had to pick him up. Like, so his son and I don't know if his son or brother-in-law or cousin or nephew or whoever it was, but they were there, but they're not big guys. Mm-mm. And this is a big man.
Yeah. And
so I said, if y'all are okay, I'll grab him.
I got to manhandle this guy.
Yeah, but he's in pain, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to bear hug this guy, pick him up into the rig, and we got him straight in. My wife was in the back seat, and she's pulling him and trying to get him in. He was in pain, man. I felt so bad trying to get him up there. But he got up there. We got the family out. We got him straight. And then they were dude, everybody tried to pay us. I couldn't believe it. Everybody's like, hey, man, here's $60 for gas. Whatever. I'm like, dude, fuck off with your money.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, I was like, go
in the water.
Go away.
Throw in the water.
I wasn't insulted, but it was just like, dude, you just lost your home.
I can't believe you're trying to offer money right now.
And they were so insistent, man.
I know.
They were like, here,
crazy.
And I was, so
it's
that
crazy how, like, I don't know how things work outside of Texas, because it was a really, in a way, it was humbling, but at the same time, like, I kind of expected that. Like, if a flood was to happen here, I kind of expected people to pull their boats out and be like, I got this.
Yeah.
This isn't shit. I hate to, I don't want to, sorry, excuse me, I don't like to use the word hate. I don't want to assume that anywhere else is any different, but it feels like the way that the way that I see it with my dang social media device is a lot of people as a victim. A lot of people outside of Texas are victims. You didn't come help me. No one came and helped me. I was on my own. I had to do this my own, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Here it was like I had more help than I knew what to do with.
Yeah.
I had 2 trees go down in my yard. One fell on a power line behind our house, and one fell on top of both our vehicles. We had somebody come over there and chop that up in no time and get it out of the way because we have people that are willing to help.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it as bad as other people, but at the same time, the response of people was phenomenal. It was
amazing.
It was over the top.
It was amazing.
Make you rethink things.
It was amazing. And if you remember, I can't recall exactly what was happening, but there was other things going on at the time. It's the same stuff that always happens, right? Race this and sexism that, and Trump's the bane of all our problems, and all that stuff. Well, when Harvey happened, it was
Day.
Hello.
Day.
I need some stuff in there.
And we're live.
And we're back. Sorry, folks. We had a little technical difficulties.
First day.
It's the first day of the podcast. Sorry. Sorry.
Actually, I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I was told that in order to get negativity out of your life, when you invite people over to your house and it's a mess, don't say sorry for the mess. Ask them to appreciate the fact that I live in a home.
Okay.
So I'm not apologizing.
Wadsworth.
Not apologizing.
We're not sorry that we fucked up the middle of that podcast and continue to enjoy listening.
We didn't refill our whiskeys either, so we're going to have to refill the whiskeys live.
So we got a little off track. We got a little straight away, but I still love Texas. It's still a beautiful place.
I wanted to get back to what it means to be a Texan. Or, no, what you need to achieve, what you need to do in Texas to be a Texan.
Okay.
So we said float the river, whether it's the Frio or New Braunfels.
Both. That's what we said.
Guadalupe, as they call it.
Guadalupe.
The other one was Lukenbach. I think that's a staple.
Corpus Christi with
Corpus
Concrete
Christi,
Street.
definitely.
And
I was going to ask you, what is the name of the it's something pier, the one that's next to the battleship they have out there? It's like 3rd Street Pier, or
I don't remember.
When I did a little turnaround there, I had my day of rest, and so I went and ventured out in the city. Went to the Surf Shack and all the other business.
Did you go to the original Whataburger?
I did not. I did not go to the original Whataburger, which is in Corpus Christi.
That's a 2-story Whataburger, my friend.
Yeah.
It's double the fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Double the patties,
those
double
burgers
double
are
the
extra
fun.
special over there. There's a something pier. I can't think of it now, but it's
remember.
next to where the battleship is.
I know what you're talking
It's
about.
right, like sitting in the bar, you can see the battleship. I remember sitting in that bar and some dude just playing acoustically, covering some songs, playing his own songs. Great time. It was an awesome time. So Corpus Christi is definitely something you need to go experience. I personally have never experienced Big Bend National Park, mainly because it's a 8-hour drive, 9-hour drive from where I'm at.
Yeah.
I've driven to Arizona and through Arizona, which is probably won't ever do that. I was getting paid to do it, so I didn't mind it, but I won't ever do that. Not being paid, like you can't ask me to drive through Arizona or through Texas like that.
I've got one for the list.
Okay.
And I hate to say it.
Oh, I don't like to use hate. You dislike it.
I know I hate to say it.
Oh, no. All right, let's hear it.
Dallas Cowboys game.
Really? Is that a staple? Like,
So Texas and football.
obviously.
It's Dallas Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan.
What about Texans?
They don't have the history.
Mm.
And they don't fucking win. God damn it.
It sucks. It sucks
God
so
damn.
bad.
Come on,
I
Deshaun
want
Watson.
them to win.
Come on, Deshaun Watson. Come back healthy.
You're
bro.
our only hope.
Come back healthy.
You're
bro.
our only hope. JJ Watt, you did great, man.
Yeah,
you did.
love that guy.
You did absolutely what you needed to do. It's okay if you need to move on. I don't want you to move on, but it's okay. I will forgive you.
Shut
You
up.
did a lot more
Shut
as a
up.
human being.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, definitely come back for sure. But it's hard to bank an entire team on one person.
It's true. This is true. So I think a Dallas Cowboys game.
Okay.
You got it. You got to go. You got to experience. And it's funny that I say that because I've been to Cowboys games. They're not that great of an experience. It's not an overwhelming. The stadium's unbelievable. But as far as you can get more excitement going to a high school, a 6A high school football game than
It's a little more intimate.
Well, the Cowboys stadium's so big and there's so many people.
That's what I'm saying.
And
It's a little more
whatever.
intimate.
Yeah, it's like I've never been there when it's really rocking. So, but I don't know that it ever gets really rocking. That's
So
kind of the
then
big
maybe the staple to be a Texan is not go to a Dallas Cowboys game because that's a little highfalutin for a Texan, but maybe go to a nice 6A high school game. That might be a Texan thing to do. I mean, because they do get
Texas high school football.
They do get pretty rowdy. I've been to a few high school games that get what is it? What do the kids say? Crunk. Is that old?
No, they don't say that anymore.
They don't say it anymore?
It's
right.
lit.
Oh,
Now we get lit.
You're right. Fam getting lit.
You said fuck crunk. No, we don't get crunk anymore.
I think now I've changed my opinion on 6th Street in Austin.
What was your first opinion?
My first initial opinion would have been that's a Texas staple to go experience 6th Street in Austin.
Okay.
Now, there are some preliminaries. Don't go to 6th Street in Austin during the day. It will ruin your Austin experience because it is just riddled with bums. I mean, uncomfortably. Like for me, I guess for me and my dad, my mom and my girlfriend were having a good time, but me and my dad were not having a good time. until he got to Coyote Ugly. He had a good time in Coyote Ugly. When it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the girl working the bar had a microphone and we were the only people in this bar, and she, "Hey everybody, welcome to Coyote Ugly. Come in and get some shots and drinks." And my dad was like, "Hell yeah, let's have a good time." I'm like, "It's 2 in the afternoon
on a Tuesday, pops.
How are we getting rowdy right now? Like, there's bums running rampant everywhere. How are we getting rowdy? I'm worried about our vehicle getting broken into." Like, that, it just, I don't know. During the day, it wasn't fun. But, I mean, go on the outskirts of Austin, experience anything. I argue anything on the outskirts of the city of Austin. Don't go to the actual skyscraper part of Austin. Go experience anything outside of it during the day. And then nighttime, whatever, you want a nice little buzz and whatever you want, then go to 6th Street and get into it. Fuck with bums. Really. Give them a piece of pizza. See what happens. There's pizza all up and down that road. Give them a piece and just see what happens. I think this one guy was walking down the road with a shirt on and a few shirts in his hand for sale saying "Blunts for President." And at that point in I think at that time it was a 30-year career, my dad had asked me, "What's a blunt?" I was like, "Well, Dad."
Papa Gaspard. Safe to say.
The first time we went to Colorado, you know what he asked me when I came back?
What is it?
"Did you buy any packets of weed? Did you buy any packets of weed?" It sounded funny to me. Maybe that's fine to think that way. It's fine, but it's a packet.
What do you get in a packet?
Yeah, what does a packet consist of?
Your 401k and benefits?
Is there a stapler involved? What is it?
What do you get in a packet?
Packet, yeah. It was. But those of you who don't know, my dad, his name is Guy, and he got to a point to where whatever the word was, he kind of interpreted it on his own. And so, like, for example, we were pulling through McDonald's at a young age, me and him, my sister. My sister said, "I want a McFlurry." The McDonald's had the McFlurry, right? Yeah. He pulls up and proceeded to say, "Can I get one of those McFlurries?" So he kind of like...
It's a reasonable...
but at the same time, like, I don't know anybody else that does that. I don't know anybody else that misconstrues what it says there, That's his thing, is when he tries to interpret words, kind of twist them about, And so what we call it in our family is Guybonics. He has his own language.
Have you met Tim Powell?
Tim Powell is a proprietor of Guybonics.
There you go.
I guess Tim's got Timbonics.
I feel like they would get along.
I don't think they would, because they wouldn't understand each other. What are you trying to say? Because, your dad's from Alabama.
He is.
And so there's that, believe it or not, the distance between Texas and Alabama creates a giant language barrier.
Astronomical.
Giant language barrier.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my Alabama friends. Matt Edmondson, this is out to you. Wrong time. Say it as deaf as you want. I love it though. Yeah. Dude. Hey, I love the dedication. They entertain me on a constant. Both your dad and my buddy Matt. I love going out to places and seeing like Alabama themed things and having to take a picture of it and send it to them and be like, "You're not hated."
Yeah.
People like you in certain places.
So it's funny, man, going back to the family reunions. It's a different world, brother. It's a different world.
Let me ask you about family reunions.
Let me hear it.
How many, like, if you were to drive through this subdivision, let's say you went to the left of your house and knocked on 10 doors, and went to the right of your house and knocked on 10 doors, and asked them if they participate in an annual family reunion.
How many would?
Do.
So we're talking 20 total, right? I would say probably 5.
This is an assumption?
Maybe 20%. So I know several of my neighbors in this neighborhood are from Michigan and Cleveland. That's what, when I said that earlier, I wasn't just pulling it out of my ass. So these folks are not from around the area, which leads me to believe they do not have family. Which furthermore leads me to believe that they do not participate in a family reunion. So
That's a Texas thing, or it's not a Texas thing, but that's a human thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Family reunions are kind of all over.
I wish that. I guess my hope for it is if you are out of state from where you belong or where you were from, I hope that where you're at, wherever your home is, you can find some type of family reunion, whether it be with your direct
Actual
family members in your house. Say, hey,
that's good.
What
if I don't think they would ever consider it, but what if their annual trip to Oktoberfest in Fredericksburg and this group of people and we dress up in our lederhosens and our whatever, our German get up, and we go and have a good time in Fredericksburg? Why would that not be like a sense of community of family reunion?
Not that it wouldn't be, not at all. But think about the family the part of my family that if I said, hey, I want to start having a family reunion at Oktoberfest in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
Part of my family would go, other part wouldn't. So you would start experiencing one part of the family, but not having the other part of the family.
Yeah.
For some reason, my family reunions work out to where they come out of the woodworks. Like, you don't see or talk to these people.
Except for the family reunion.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm going to say, unfortunately, it's kind of the same for me and my family from Alabama. Not for any reason besides they're just from Alabama and I'm in Texas. It's a 12-hour drive to go up there.
Yeah.
So, and the only time we see each other is for the family reunion in the last week of June every year. And unless it's that and or a wedding, my cousin CJ is getting married on March 10th. So I think it's March 10th is a Saturday, whatever Saturday is of that weekend. Congratulations to him. I don't know if I can go. I'm in the middle of this turnaround. I'm working. I may be going to Montana. I don't know if I can make it. I'm doing everything I can to get there.
Ryan Powell, sorry to make it to your wedding. I know it's still a hot topic, but let me just throw that out there.
Ryan Powell.
I wasn't invited.
Ryan Powell would be my brother, and he insists to this day that Cody was always invited, but
never
received an invitation.
Didn't accept or receive said invitation. No, I probably did.
So how does that work? A friend that's such a good friend you don't need to send an invitation to?
I want to say,
because I don't think I got an invitation either, but it's my brother.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no proof that the invitation was put through, but that's irrelevant. Hey, I'm getting married, be there, you know?
Yeah.
That's that. And I was not there.
Were you at the bachelor party?
Where was the bachelor party?
Dickinson Dance Hall.
I was not at the bachelor party. So I applied no reference to either. Terrible friend.
I don't know what he does with life. I can't answer for my brother. Who do you think I am? Come on now.
His brother? Who do you think I'm related to the guy? It's a weird, I don't know why it is with me. I'm better friends with a lot of my friends' little brothers. I mean, I don't consider you a little brother to him, but I mean, you are younger. What's the year difference?
He's 84. He's 85. I'm 89.
Okay, so not that big.
4 years difference.
But like JoJo and Scooter Mitchell,
yeah.
I'm way more closer to Mitchell than I am with JoJo. Aaron and Anson. I lived with Aaron for a while. I feel like I'm closer to Anson somehow. I don't know why. I can't explain
I've never
it.
met him.
You've never met Anson?
Oddly enough.
Really? No, you have.
Nope.
Nah, come on. Wow. He's stand-up dude. Like, way better morals than his brother. Aaron Gist, step your game up. I hope you hear this. This is me coming across the airways to tell you need to straighten up, young man. That's just from what your grandparents, your mom and dad tell me. You need to straighten up.
Shout on you, crazy down.
Aaron Gist, I love you to death, man. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't ask him to change a bit.
I know, love all them guys.
I think that's actually why me and you are closer.
How so?
We were friends prior.
Prior to what?
Prior to me meeting Aaron. We were friends.
Yes.
We were party animals. We weren't intimate, not sexually, but we were we were discussing it, anal play.
Yeah.
And Aaron came in the mix, and he was in a position that I was in. And so we were able to move in together.
Yes.
And we had that apartment for a year that I think you visited twice and played Power Hour once.
And listen to Steve Ray Vaughan the other.
Is that what we did the other one?
I remember going over there.
What we did.
Big Screen was on, and it was like 1979 Steve Ray Vaughan
In
Austin City Limits.
Yep.
Fucking getting girl.
Playing way louder than we were supposed to.
Oh, didn't give a
Living on the second floor of an apartment in Lee City.
Yeah.
To a bunch of fucking snowflakes that didn't care for our loud music.
Yeah.
But luckily, we had I'm doing air quotes right now, quote unquote, cop on our hands. Aaron would always try to spit game at cops, which actually got me in jail.
I forget that he was a cop.
Because I don't know that he was actually a cop. I think he just signed up to hold a gun and have lights in his car.
Top flight security.
I want him to listen to this podcast so I can talk shit without him saying a word back. That's who you got to have on this podcast next is Aaron.
Well, he's been so on this podcast. I've thought of a slew of people I'd like to have on.
Yeah, you came with me with a flurry of people. I was like,
yeah,
you can have all those people, but you got to have the time.
Yes,
that's the tricky part.
It always is, right, man? It's life. But and I was speaking with someone the other day. They said the exact same thing. They said, well, yeah, you can do that, but when are you going to get the time? I said, well, what am I going to be doing with my time and if I don't do this, what else am I going to be doing that's helpful?
Social media.
I don't do it. I'm on.
Okay, well, a lot of people do.
I'm not on Facebook. Sorry, folks. I'm on Twitter, and I just follow the people I'm interested in to get information.
You don't actually engage.
I have been more recently since I decided that I wanted to do a podcast. The people that I'm interested in doing podcasts with, I've started following, liking, interacting, everything else. Cody Jinks liked a comment that I left on his post the other day. So we're basically best friends.
I enjoy Cody Jinks. Not because his name is Cody. That's not the case. Don't get it crisscrossed.
So he was.
I like Cody Jinks more than I like Cody Johnson. No offense, Cody Johnson, but I like Cody Jinks a little more. I like a little more. Okay, I think my theme song has been for the last year or two is, leave this long hair country boy alone. Like I really am. I'm a long hair country boy. Whether you like it or not,
he's long hair with dreadlocks.
Yeah, if you see me in a country bar enjoying country, singing out loud country music, and I have dreadlocks, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to put it. People look at me funny. You know what's weird about Austin? People don't look at me funny in Austin. Down here, people look at me funny. Still to this day, but
do they look at you funny or do they look at you curious?
That's up for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you could, after a while, you start to read eyes, you start to read feelings, you start to go with your intuition, and sometimes you see people kind of size you up and down, and you're like, okay, this person doesn't like what I have to represent. But then other times you have people that come up and genuinely want to say,
are curious.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Do you wash it? And I'm
Do you, sir?
I shower, yes. Do you wash it? My penis? Depending on what kind of night I had. Yes, I wash it. I wash my hair. So it just, you can feel it out sometimes. Like I don't know why. It's funny. Henry Rollins. You ever listen to any of his podcasts? Great podcast.
Great guy.
He talks about the fragility of humans, how fragile human beings are. I think a lot of us can think back to one of the first times we were bullied or one of the first times we were scared. But you can't think back to your first birthday sometimes or your second birthday or when something good happened.
You were happy.
Yeah. It's hard to recollect what happened. But when it comes to the traumatic episode, you really retain to it. It's because we're just fragile. Our brains don't handle trauma the way that we want it to. So, for some reason, I remember that. I'd never forget this. I was at Yaga's in Galveston, on the Strand in Galveston. And this guy came up to me and put his hand around me. And was like, hey, man, I just wanted to let you know. And he proceeded to touch my hair. And I don't know this guy. And so, like, if you were someone, obviously just being an average person with just normal haircut, someone's not going to come up and touch your hair. And if it is, you're going to be wanting that person to touch your hair because it's a significant other or some kind of shit like that. A random stranger came up to me, put his arm around me, and wanted to put his hand in my hair. And I didn't know who the stranger was. He could have been in the bathroom pissing on his hand 5 minutes ago. Don't want that in my hair. So I just pulled my head away slightly. I was like, oh, hey, whatever. He's like, no, I don't mean any offense. But I just wanted to let you know that and he proceeded to touch my hair again. I said, dude, you don't have to tell me that you want dreads by touching my hair. I don't know you. I don't want you running your fingers through my hair. We're in a bar right now. People are disgusting in a bar. Okay? Let's just be realistic. And he got offended. He straight up turned, switched conversation, and proceeded to call me a hippie faggot. I was like, you're the one wanting to touch me? I mean, what do you want me to do?
Excuse me. Sure.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to upset you. I was trying to be cordial with you, but alcohol will inhibit it depending on how you interpret it.
Boundaries.
Yeah, there is. There should be boundaries. I don't have many boundaries, but that's one. Now, 9 times out of 10, if I'm out and some nice old ladies, I love old ladies, they come up to me all the time. They're like, hey, they look at me like they're about to do a drug deal.
Look over their left shoulder. Look over their right shoulder.
They make sure that everything coast is clear. And they're like, can I ask you something? And they ask me if they can ask me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, right then and there, I'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you just ask me,
Yeah.
hey, do you mind if I touch one? And I'm like, okay, it's fine. No big deal.
You can suck on it. You can suck on it.
If you look a little creepy and you just assume to reach up and grab, like the people that stand behind me and touch it, and then I turn around, they're like, woo, laughing and stuff. I'm like, see, there's the choice. I can choose to be an upset, angry, dreadhead person, or I can be like, okay, you're having a good time.
Are you hashtag me too right now?
Oh, no. I wish I'd get sexually harassed. I would love to be sexually harassed. I would love to be just harassed. I mean, it doesn't have to be sexually,
Well, you're talking about hair harassment.
Harassment. I mean, it's not. I just keep your pee-pee hands out of. I mean, I know what people do in the bathroom. You watch people in the bathroom all the time. Touch penises. Probably ain't washed it in a few days or something. Drinking booze and whatnot all over their hands.
Do you wash it? Do you wash it?
I mean, not. Regularly.
Let's be honest.
Not a human.
I can look at you right now and tell you don't wash it.
You don't wash it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's boundaries to it. What else does it take to be a Texan though? So we've discussed. Ooh,
we haven't gone into food. So
there's a coastal barrier that happens in Texas. You can come down to Galveston, Corpus Christi, close to Louisiana, whatever. And you can find some of the absolute best crustaceans, shrimp, crawfish, crab, stuff like that. Anywhere you go. I mean, there can be bad ones, but for the most part, it's fresh and it's good.
Yes.
But you go up inland, like my friends in Dallas, they don't get to experience crawfish season, which is disturbing.
Isn't it? It is, and it isn't.
Absolutely. Because you can still go up to Dallas and get one of the best steaks you've ever had in your life.
There you go.
I guess as far as mainstream steaks go, I will go ahead and put it on the record that Texas Roadhouse has one of the best mainstream cooked steaks you can get. As far as like saltgrass or longhorns or, I mean, you're not going to touch Perry's, obviously, but that's a $60 steak. Like, who wants to do that? Saltgrass or Texas Roadhouse, $20 steak, $25 steak, something like that. I think the Texas Roadhouse has one.
I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that. I have differing opinions.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I like the opposition.
So I don't want to get into
details,
steaks at this point. I have my opinions. I do not believe that Texas Roadhouse is one of the better steaks, but it's fine.
What is yours though? As far as mainstream goes,
I'd rather have a saltgrass steak.
Really? And I'm not going to sit there and say that saltgrass is not a good steak. I think they're great steaks.
No.
I have a feeling like if I was to lay both of them out in front of me, maybe I'd feel differently. But one night in January, I'll go to Saltgrass and have a steak. And then one night in March, I'll go to Roadhouse and have a Roadhouse. I just sometimes feel that a Roadhouse is a little more juicier, a little just
it's
a little taken care of a little bit. But that's just opinion. That's all opinion, you know?
It could be a steak-to-steak thing, man.
Saltgrass is good steaks. I'm not going to sit there and turn down, like we were talking about earlier about whiskey. You know, what kind of whiskey do you want? Well, if you put a porterhouse in front of me, I'm not going to say no, and I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to not enjoy it, you know? Like, you can put, if anybody puts any effort toward anything, I'm going to enjoy it. Even if it's not the best thing I've had, I'm still going to enjoy something about it. There's going to be an experience. There's going to be something had in that moment. That's about being optimistic, you know? That's being happy about things, not being objective, not being a butthead about things.
Yeah. So, crawfish.
Okay, let's get into it. Because I feel like I'm pretty deep in the game right now.
Okay. So, 10 years ago, you're living in Galveston County, Texas. Where did you have your crawfish at?
Home cooked boils. 10 years ago, home cooked boils.
Backyards.
Yeah, you didn't go to restaurants to get crawfish.
There was none.
I mean, I'm sure there were, but what did we know?
Did you know of any?
Mm-mm.
Maybe Floyd's.
If you thought about it. But 9 times out of 10, someone was calling you saying they had
How many
crawfish
times a
house.
year did you have crawfish?
10 years ago?
Yeah.
Every year. Easily.
No, how many times? In a season.
Multiple times.
How many?
At a house. I'd say 5 to 10 times.
Okay.
At a house.
That's more than I had 3 to 4, probably.
Yeah, I'd say, okay, 5. Easily 5. 10 years ago, easily. Well, my dad's coon-ass.
Your dad's coon.
And my family appreciates a good crawfish boil.
This is why I wanted to have the conversation.
Even if we minimalized it, it would be 2 a year. Even if I had to chop it all the way down, I could say 2 a year is how many times I had crawfish per year 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's once a week.
Yeah, I know. It's whenever
Easily.
you want it.
Well, now that, you know, the information is out there that season has started. It's time to start eating it. They're going to be small. They're going to be expensive. But we're going to get the flavor right for you.
Yeah.
So once you go find that place that's got the flavor right, then you start looking for the price.
So when did you start having it? Because here's an epiphany I've had in the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
What month were you like, okay, it's time to start crawfish?
Time to start?
Yeah.
Well, you start fine-tuning your recipe at the end of January.
When did you go to these backyards to have crawfish?
Oh, no. If somebody said, I'm having crawfish, I'm showing up. I don't care. I don't care about it.
When was that happening? Is that what I'm asking?
If they said they had
what month? Give me a month.
Okay. If somebody in January said I'm having a crawfish boil, I'm showing up.
Did you have a crawfish boil in January in 2007?
I personally did not.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't start eating crawfish till March. Most of those years ago. You know what I'm saying?
But I never said no. You know, that was my thing.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But when was it available?
Oh,
it didn't get down here
easily
in Houston.
and readily. Oh, yeah. March. Easily.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're right.
So now we are January 2 weeks in to the new year, and we got crawfish available at these restaurants.
Crawfish season at restaurants. At main restaurants.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what we're talking about. They're small, they're this and that, but they're good flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the flavor.
I think that's what makes or breaks you, though. I mean, you can sit there and have big crawfish all day long with flavored like this, but I think if you can fine tune your shake, like, because if someone's going to sit there and pay all this money for all this crawfish and pick these crawfish that are small, you better enjoy the flavor. Because if you don't enjoy the flavor, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to come back. Yeah, I don't care how big or juicy your crawfish are. You're not going to come back.
It's definitely on the flavor. But my whole point in it is 10 years ago. It was a March through
That's when it was more
July, I think.
But
right?
10 years ago, you didn't have your cell phone for Pooks to put out that Pooks in Santa Fe serves only crawfish and it's BYOB.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we didn't have Pooks. We didn't have Tomaso's. We didn't have Lone Star. We didn't have Hugh and Jeff's. You know, we had nobody. Nobody was publicly cooking crawfish. It was all
backyards.
Backyards.
What changed? What happened?
The exchange of information.
I don't agree.
I don't know.
My opinion. is after Hurricane Katrina and the massive influence of Louisiana refugees going from Louisiana to Houston. Because if y'all don't remember, people were led out of Louisiana into the Houston Astrodome, into the NRG Center, for refugees.
Yeah.
Some people didn't have money to go back. Some people didn't have a place to go back. Some people didn't want to go back. And they stayed in Houston. Since then, it is my opinion
relevant. Yeah.
that crawfish has blown up tenfold every year.
That's extremely true.
That's my opinion. So
more true than I know anybody else has argued.
yeah. So it's amazing, man. The crawfish in this area has gotten so much better.
Oh,
I used to go, dude, to because like I said, it was just backyard crawfish pools. We're gonna have a graduation party for so and so. We're having a crawfish pool.
sure.
It's good. So and so's birthday.
Well,
we're having a crawfish pool.
What do we used to do? We used to put in a big ass pool and pour salt all over them.
Yeah.
And then what happened? LSU came out with a study saying that salt don't do a damn
Salt
thing.
don't do shit. Ladies
All
and
right,
gentlemen,
let's change it up.
ladies and gentlemen, if you purge your crawfish in ice chest full of salt, you're not doing anything but killing
You're wasting salt.
the crawfish and wasting salt.
Oh, it kills them too. You're right. You're absolutely
kills
right.
them too. So these are freshwater animals, crustaceans, right? So you put salt in them, it does not make them shit.
Mm-mm.
The only thing that will make them shit and clear that black tube is time. There's nothing else you can do.
And the time might kill them or terrorize them or.
It depends. It depends on if you got them in ice, water, or whatever.
I don't think when you buy a sack of crawfish, you're going to be picky about who shit out shit.
no.
I mean,
No.
it's just as easy. Like, learn a good process of peeling it. My thing about the little shit tube in it is it can get gritty sometimes, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't like that to bite and taste like chewing sand. So if it's a real big, relevant strain of poop down their back end, I'll toss it.
Peel it off.
I'll toss it and peel it, because it's easy enough. It's not hard.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes it comes straight with a shell. If you can peel it right, it comes straight with a shell.
Yeah.
But, there's multiple variations. So you can easily just toss that in the trash and be done with it.
If you're doing it right, you're biting it right out of the shell.
If you are doing it right, yeah. It takes practice. I think that
It's a funny thing, man, that we talk about crawfish being a big part of our life, our culture, or one of the things that we do. Yeah, exactly. But it's a Louisiana thing. This is a Texas podcast. Why, sir, are you talking about crawfish?
It's relevant.
In the part,
I understand it's not.
In the part,
It's not
in the
originated.
region, the region of
okay,
Texas.
well, you want to talk about originating? I mean, we originated from Egyptians. I mean, how? What do you want to do? You want to break it down like that?
No.
Exactly.
No. Let's take a step back.
Exactly.
It's the same. Here's again another theory. It's the same thing as Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
How great is our Mexican food?
Tex-Mex.
It's Tex-Mex.
Awesome.
How good is it compared to anywhere else in the world? Have you ever been to like Chicago or fucking Cleveland or West Virginia, Alabama, and tried Mexican food?
Mm-mm.
Don't do it.
Probably not that good.
Don't ever do it.
That's why I've always learned, if you go inland anywhere, do not try seafood.
Don't do seafood.
Don't do it.
Seafood.
It's not near as fresh. It's not going to be the same. I mean, you can sit there, they can cook it and flavor it and do all these things they want to it. But I'm telling you, you go to Austin or Dallas and try out some crab, lobster, crawfish, get a feel for it, and then come on down here to close to Galveston and try a little fucking podunk place down here and tell me that it is not better down here than it is up there. Tell me, please.
I want to
experience that.
I went to a sushi restaurant in Amarillo.
Ooh, that's way up, man.
Excuse me, sir.
Way up.
I went to a sushi restaurant in Amarillo.
But cardboard.
No.
It's gotta be cardboard.
No. There was no flavor
whatsoever.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't off tasting. It wasn't offsetting or anything, but there was no flavor.
It just wasn't good.
Wasn't good.
Compared to what you've had.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing, right? So another great thing about Texas, we talk about our bucket list. There's a lot of food on that bucket list, right? But it's our Yeah, it's our Mexican culture, right? Julio's chips down in Brownsville, Texas. Come the fuck on, get you some. If you never had Julio's chips,
touch it.
Come on,
Touch it.
we're talking. So
I think actually in HEB we have our own brand of chips. Like you have across the country, you have Tostitos, Doritos, shit like that. In Texas, in HEB, you have
Texas tortilla chips.
It's Totinos or something.
Yeah.
The yellow bag.
Yeah.
They don't give you a whole lot. Like it's all in the bottom of the bag, but the flavor is spot on.
So I've gotten to the point in the last few years where I try to only support Texas.
It's hard not to.
So I only drink Shiner Bock. I like Eighth Wonder Brewery. I like Carbach. All the local breweries or whatever.
I mean, but what you kind of like, that's thing about beer. Like, growing up as a kid, it's so easy to obtain Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, whatever. So easy to get that. But then once you start to refine your taste a little bit and start to know what you like, it's hard not to enjoy Texas beers. Which I wanted to get into is the one pot cook-off we went to at in Houston. There is St. Arnold's Brewery. Just outside of that, once a year, inside of a baseball diamond, they had 80 teams. I went to this 2-3 weeks ago. 80 teams cook whatever they can in one pot. It has to be incorporated with one of St. Arnold's beers. St. Arnold.
Anything you want in there.
St. Arnold's makes a slew of beers, IPAs, Grasshopper, Weed Hopper, White Noise, whatever they are. You have to cook something in a pot, and you have to incorporate beer with it. If I was to ever get married, I would go to this event to find out what food I want in my wedding, because these are people that are. I mean, they know how to cook a mass for people. They know what it takes to cook for a lot of people. They serve so many people go there. Dude, I got stuffed. We hit probably 50 teams and we got bloated.
Questions.
Overly full.
One pot cook-off. How big were the pots? We're talking 20, 30 gallon pots?
I mean, however big this is.
It looks like about a 20 gallon pot.
Yeah.
So, and you said they have to have the beer ingredient in it. Is that they're bringing like a 12-pack of beers, or they're just pouring one beer in a pot of gumbo?
I mean, I don't think you can pour a beer in a gumbo. I think you have to incorporate it with your roux. And I mean, there was ceviche, there was mac and cheese, there was chili, there was this one guy had raspberry, a raspberry glaze for hot wings. It was delicious.
The raspberry glaze was the beer.
Yeah, whatever beer, what he incorporated a certain beer with the glaze, dipped it in the wings, and it was phenomenal. Like some gourmet shit, Somebody that took a lot of time and effort to put into this one little bitty tiny portion of food. We were with Justin Cotrette.
Yep.
Remember him?
Yes, sir.
Little badass guitar player.
Yeah.
He made like a Cajun, almost a Cajun Philly cheesesteak thing.
Okay.
But it was like with this sauce, and the meat was like, I thought it was one of the best. I didn't want to be biased. I literally, out of 80 teams, me and Jeff probably tried 50 teams, and we enjoyed a lot of them. But I could come back to his and know that was a really good flavor. The meat with the sauce and a little bit of lettuce on it, like, it worked very well. So I thought they were going to at least place, 5th to 1st. Didn't even touch it. You know what won?
Dessert.
It was.
It's always a dessert.
It was a steamed dumpling, right? You go to a Chinese restaurant, get a steamed dumpling with soy sauce.
Yes, sir.
And but in the middle of it was a peanut butter and jelly lob. When I ate it, it was right next to Justin's. It was Justin's next door neighbor.
Did you try it?
Oh, yeah. Here, try this out. And I ate it, and I went, like, I was set back because it was a whole lot going on. it was way too much going on for me. It was the salt, and the salt hit you and then went straight into sweet, and I didn't know how to process it. I was like, it's too much for me. They won the entire out of 80 teams, they got first place.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I don't know what the stipulation is, but
so that's
food in Texas is a prominent thing.
There you can go off of so much. So just restaurants, just types of food. Houston has an amazing Asian culture with amazing Asian food, and of course Mexican style food. We have growing in the last 10 years. We've had unbelievable Cajun style food, and of course Texas is known for their beef, right? So, but the one thing, I don't know if it's so unique to Texas, but I feel like it is cook-offs, man. We have chili cook-offs. We have barbecue cook-offs. We have the one-pot cook-off. We have a crawfish cook-off.
What did we do last year? Let's talk about that.
What did we do last year?
Guinness Book of World Records. Me and this guy sitting in front of me, Jared Powell, are a part of a conglomerate of people that achieved a Guinness Book of World Records for the most crawfish boiled in an entire event.
Correct. 73,000 pounds of crawfish.
Pounds of crawfish.
70. It was in the 70s, I want to say. 70.
And you could walk across that floor. That it was at the dog track in
Gulf Greyhound Park.
Gulf Greyhound Park in Lamar. You could walk across there, and even if you only hit, let's say, 10 teams out of the 80 teams.
There was 80 there.
There's only 80? Okay.
There was 80
Let's
there.
say you hit 10 of them. You literally could have the worst crawfish to the best crawfish you had ever had in your life in those 10 teams.
Yeah.
Not to mention the other 70 teams that were involved.
Yeah. And so
you weren't going to every team.
No.
It's impossible.
So those of y'all don't know, there's the Big Ass Crawfish Bash is the name of the event. It's in it's been 4 years now. The first 3 years were at Highlands Park, I believe, in Hitchcock, Texas. And that was something along the lines of 20 teams. They had something around 10, 15, 20,000 pounds of crawfish. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. This is part of the explosion of crawfish in this area that I've been talking about. So last year they decided they were going to do 80 teams. They were moving it up to the Gulf Greyhound Park, which is a large dog track venue in Lamar, Texas. And they have a huge parking lot. And
wasn't even big enough.
It wasn't.
Last year was that was a 30-minute walk.
There was something like 26,000 people that came to this event.
And they parked all over the place and tried to shuttle in, and it was a dilemma.
Yeah. It was.
But we were in there having a great time.
Great fucking time. So 80 teams, unlimited amount of crawfish is basically what it turned out to be. We ourselves cooked 16 sacks. Turned out to be something like 480, 500 pounds of crawfish.
Really?
That day. And we weren't a large
Y'all
setup.
did. I had to disappear for a little bit. I left the night before get a hold of me.
There you go. The hangovers hurt more than they used to.
Oh, God. It was so
we were not a large setup. We had one pot that cooks a sack at a time and another pot that cooks 2 sacks at a time.
We barely had tents and tables.
Yeah.
We had some hand-me-down tents and
great
tables.
fucking time, though, right?
And then the teams next to us had full-fledged 20-foot trailers with a crane lift and a bucket that could just pound out 20 pounds of crawfish at any time. And we were barely getting through with 2 sacks apiece, maybe.
You know the best thing they had going on?
The damn neck bones, dude. The neck bones.
Them sons of bitches. They're from Baton Rouge.
They won what?
They won the public People's Choice.
People's Choice. There you go.
They won the People's Choice.
Yeah.
So in this event, they had 80 teams, right? So they named the top 10, and then from the top 10, they picked the top 3, and that's how they placed. And then they had one that was the People's Choice Award. Everybody got a text, a number that was on your 10 or whatever, and so these folks next to us won the People's Choice. They didn't place top 10, but they won People's Choice. We'll go in the judging.
Yeah,
it's kind of
might be a little biased.
I don't think it's biased, but it's not.
Well,
they're eating 3 crawfish apiece from your thing.
Well, and then you had the other tents that offered a concert and a drink with your crawfish. Here's a table and mushrooms and sausage and potatoes and all this other fixings with your crawfish. Oh, I really enjoyed the experience I had at this tent. Not the crawfish. I enjoyed the experience. Either way, I don't care. Irrelevant.
Not better.
And
not better at all.
I guess that's I don't have that competitive nature. You know, I don't go to a cook-off. Like, I've been to more cook-offs I know what to do with. I've been on teams with people more than I know what to do with. And I've never competed in any one of the cook-offs. Like, I've never, we have to make this the best sausage ever, or we have to make this the best chili ever.
Well, that was kind of my sense in doing that crawfish bash. I was a team captain. I kind of put it all together and all that stuff and got everybody on the team. But I didn't really go into it wanting to win. I honestly went into it because we went last year, or the year before. We had a great time. I got a family of 6.
It's easy to have your own team.
It wasn't that expensive to get our own spot and do our own thing, bring in our own beer, stuff like that. So I was like, I'm probably going to save some money by doing this. You know what I mean?
Instead of going visiting,
Yeah, so
I mean, you probably spend more money on setting up and having your own team. But at the same time, like I've said from the beginning, the experience,
Yeah. No,
being able to do what you want to do in your own spot that pays for itself, you know, easily. Yeah. Like, just knowing when, like, one of your family members walking into it, literally having to park across the damn highway, getting a shuttle, waiting in line, doing all this bullshit to get into the event. They can come in and they can come to their own tent that they know that their family members are there. They can get a drink, they can get food, whatever they want. I mean, you can go all over the place and get that. But you have a home base you can get to, and you can have your own food. Yeah. You can talk to your own people. You don't have to deal with a bunch of, like, there was some language barrier. Not like a dramatic language barrier, but, obviously the people next to us were from Louisiana and we were from Texas. Like, so there was that. Like,
neck bones.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We didn't.
Pig, neck bones.
We didn't consider at all to cook any extras. We had mushrooms and sausage, which comes with crawfish on a normal basis. Yeah. They had neck bones.
Yeah.
And if anybody was judging anything, who had the best neck bones out of the place, they did.
They had the best crawfish, dude. So here's the deal.
They had a setup, though. They had been doing it for how many years?
They cater crawfish. They got it going on. Here's the deal. So I would like to think that my crawfish recipe is decent. Better than average.
It doesn't taste like shit.
It's better than average, right?
So I would rather come there than go other places.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's not a lot of times where I eat other people's crawfish where I'm like, wow, this is better than mine. Last year, when the old boys from Baton Rouge pulled up, had their shit, and they said, hey, try this. And I said, yep. That's better.
It was effortless.
Better than
what they had.
It's fucking good, dude.
Effortless.
Fucking good. And that's like I said, it's one of those things, man. It's another unique thing to Texas. I say it's unique, but I don't know that it is. But cook-offs.
Right now, I'm trying to get on I want to be a prominent Yelp reviewer, not specifically Yelp, but just a reviewer of different places of crawfish. So if I was to sit here and name 5 places off my hand, there's a place in Alvin called Tommaso's, which hands down I think is the best.
It's an Italian restaurant that you would never think makes crawfish.
Has a pizza symbol outside of their place that says Italian, Italian, Italian. But it's a nice little dive sports bar. They can host live music. They serve amazing crawfish. Like, good size, good flavor, good peel, everything. Everything you need. Like, this is coming from someone that goes to a lot of places. So Tommaso's, Pook's, Lone Star, who are Hugh and Jeff's is new. But who are the other one? Boyd's. I went to Boyd's today. They were good
Boyd's
size.
Isn't bad.
They were good size, good flavor. Boyd's. I gotta get one more just because I said 5.
So Floyd's.
Floyd's. Okay, Floyd's has I didn't really venture into Floyd's, but they are someone else that offers it.
There's a few places, man. It's some new.
But that's what you're saying.
There's LA Crawfish
L.A. crawfish. That's another one.
LA crawfish is
They
pretty
have an
good.
interesting twist on it.
There's a place in what's it called, over by Sherlock's.
It used to be Sherlock's.
It used to be Sherlock's. There's a place over there,
Across the road from it, yeah.
and they spin their crawfish.
Yeah, and like LA, the thing about them is they have an Asian kick to their crawfish.
Yeah.
Like a very prominent Asian influence to it.
So a lot of people don't know this.
I mean, Asian makes sense. I eat sushi all the time. That makes total sense.
Vietnamese are considered in a lot of places in the world bigger crawfish connoisseurs than
And I don't doubt that.
Louisiana's.
I don't doubt that.
So when you go to, like, let's say you go to Vegas. Vegas has the big buffets and this and that and the food from all over the world. They don't have crawfish Cajun style Louisiana. They're
inland.
Vietnamese.
They're inland.
Well, they still get fresh crawfish, whatever, but the way they serve them is what I'm saying.
Though. That's the problem.
Well, fresh or not, what I'm saying is the way they serve them is not Cajun style.
Oh,
it's Vietnamese style.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just different. They're considered big part. So that's what I'm saying. The Asian culture in
it's crustaceans. It's you can sit there and say all day long that a crawfish comes from Louisiana just because it's a mud bug. It's a bug.
That's
in
what
the
we.
mud.
That's what we know.
That's what we think, but it's a crustacean.
That's what we know. But they're all over the world.
It starts with lobster and crab.
I've seen Survivor Man eat
And
them sons of bitches in fucking Australia.
Right on the ground. Right out of the fucking ground.
That's what I'm saying. So it's what we know is Louisiana and the Cajun style and this and that. But you get Asian style spun in kind of a teriyaki glaze and this and that, and they cook them in like an orange juice flavor. Like
citrus?
there's some kind of
I'm not opposed to that,
not a soda.
You say it, I'm not opposed to it.
There's like an orange juice drink that they have, and they boil their crawfish in this orange juice drink.
Something to me about like this. I'm gonna pull up right now. Topo Chico. You look at the minerals. You look at what's in here. Not minerals. You look at what the contents are. It says ingredients: mineral water and carbon dioxide. Something about that bubbliness and that's what, to me, that's what citrus brings. Citrus brings kind of a crispy, kind of a, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Citrus in general. I like, when I go to get sushi, I get a ponzu sauce, which is basically a soy sauce with a citrus kind of twist to it. Phenomenal, dude. I love it. I absolutely it's like, I judge sushi places on that. We usually go to Masa Sushi. We don't go there anymore. We go to Aya. Aya is half the price, and they have just as good sushi. Now, saying that, their ponzu sauce is not near as good as Masa's. Masa has a little special something or another to it that I can't explain, but I would much rather spend $40 on an entire meal with ramen noodle soup, miso soup, and sushi, laid out with sashimi and sushi. You can spend $40 to $50 at Aya. You go to Masa, you're going to spend $70, $80,
Yeah.
I would much rather go to Aya and get just as much for just as good a flavor minus the ponzu sauce.
Yeah.
So there's that, there's citrus definitely brings, that's why a lot of people put orange peels and lemon peels in their crawfish. Orange lemon and crawfish is
lemon's a big, I put lemon in mine.
Definitely. I think that if you open up, so go in the backyard crawfish boils, we eat them straight out of an ice chest. There's a ice scooper in an ice chest. You open it up and the steam hits you right in the face. There's mushrooms, sausage, potatoes, corn, whatever you name in there. If you open one up and there's lemon rind in there that's been squeezed, obviously you're not going to eat that, but
it's a different.
But when it's in there. Yeah, when it's in there, it's a good boil.
Yeah.
You know that somebody worked hard for that, and it's going to be good no matter what.
Dude, years ago when I used to eat them, it was almost at times, it felt like as spicy as you can get it. That's all they wanted. I just want as spicy as I can have this one. And my lips would be purple. I hated crawfish.
I'm not into it.
I hated them. I didn't like it.
I didn't want to enjoy it.
Dude,
I enjoy sucking the head for juices.
Yeah,
I know. Experience.
There's some people who do.
You put your lips on something. If you enclose your lips around things, it immediately makes things hotter.
Yeah.
So you're just eating for speed at that point. You're like, I just gotta get through this.
Everybody would talk, I like crawfish, I'm like, well, I want to like them too as I'm eating.
I don't want my nose running into it.
Oh, dude, my lips.
Yeah.
Oh, so man, it wasn't until and it's funny. It wasn't until a few of these joints started opening up and serving their own style that I really started enjoying it, and then I wanted to learn how to make it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole other thing. But it's it's one of those uniquely Texas things. We have backyard barbecues. We have backyard crawfish bowls, shrimp bowls, crab leg. My fucking grandma makes crab legs boiled in enchilada sauce. Shut your mouth, son.
Don't talk to me.
Are you kidding? But that's what it's just an infusion of flavors, of food, of styles, of everything. It's just, what other place has things like that, right?
Yeah.
So on our bucket list, there's
back to all this.
There's about 30 different places of food you have to try before you go.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to be a true Texan, you literally have to have a
so there's a
coagulated list. And not just of places you've tried. It can't be places you've tried. It's got to be places you have enjoyed. It's not about going there and eating the food.
Yeah,
You can go anywhere and eat food.
Yeah.
Go there and experience something close to it.
Yeah.
I think life is all about experience. One of the worst sayings in the world is life is short. No, life can be short. It's easy for life to be short. It's easy for you to die, or it's easy for you to give up.
If you enjoy every moment.
But yeah,
life can be long.
If you get into it, and you think about what you've done and what you've seen and how it went down, whether it was a good experience or bad experience, how everything, unfolded, there's a longevity to life. There's something special to it. That's an everlasting thing. And as soon as I'm able to convey my message of what I've experienced to someone else, then someone else can experience just the message. They don't have to necessarily experience the experience, but they can understand, hey, I have a friend of mine that went here. I'm going to go try it one day. A lot of my friends have been to lots of crazy, different off-the-wall places that I will forever retain in my own little personal book of places to go.
If you're ever there, I'm going to hit this place up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. Are you aware of the Texas Monthly Magazine put out like the top 50, top 100 barbecue places in Texas? So there was a list they put out, and they gave out like passport books.
I need a pee. Can you talk?
Yeah, we can talk.
Run that on.
Yeah. So I'm gonna explain it. There's a passport book that they give you, and you basically go to all these restaurants. And you get stamps like a passport. You say, I've been here, right? You order the meals, whatever. As you order them, you present them your book, and they give you a unique stamp to each restaurant. And they have a deal set up with Yeti coolers, that the more you get, the more places you go, the better you can, or the more gifts you get, right? You start off with a Yeti sticker or a Yeti bottle opener. Then they give you a Rambler or a tumbler. I'm sorry. They give you a 30-ounce tumbler, and then you can get, a 25-quart Yeti cooler. So the more places you go, the more stuff you get. And then you get like 2 to 3 years. I don't know exactly all the rules. I'm talking out my ass, but you can look it up. And it's basically traveling Texas countryside to experience all these barbecue joints all over Texas, all the way up in the Panhandle, all the way down to the coast, down into Brownsville to El Paso. So you got to really do some traveling, and it's a promotion of sorts, right? So you promote it by giving people an incentive of winning Yeti items by going to these different barbecue joints, and it also incentivizes travel around Texas, which I think is a really cool thing, man. Like, I don't know. There are other places that do that kind of thing, but Yeti has put a prize package together for people traveling around, trying these different barbecue joints, where like you end up getting like 125 quart Yeti ice chest, like $600 ice chest. And if you do the whole thing, you get all kinds of stuff from it. plus the enjoyment of going and visiting all the things in Texas. And I think it'd be not better. I think it'd be cool to do something similar with crawfish.
See, that's what I talked to my girlfriend last year. I want to be a Yelp reviewer. Like, I want to be a prominent Yelp reviewer for different crawfish places. I want to be able to, go try different foods or different crawfish places and see what kind of mixes they have, see what kind of flavors they have. I want to do all that, and I want to document it. I want to put it all together so that people can read it and, either repute it or talk about it, whatever. Just get the word out. I mean, because there's a lot of people that don't know about Tommaso's in Alvin. Tommaso's is an Italian joint. If you're driving through Alvin, you don't know that Tommaso's they serve crawfish. They might have a sign out now, but prior to that, like, you had to do your research. You had to hear from somebody that knows somebody that knew somebody that robbed somebody that there was a restaurant in Alvin that served crawfish. It was an Italian restaurant that served crawfish. So it's places like that I want to be able to not so much make popular, but I want people to know that, don't go pay $7.99 for some little bitty crawfish with no flavoring, no extras, and no point of view, no screens or nothing like that. Nothing fun there. You don't have to just go to the same place every single time. You can go out to wherever you want. You can go to a little podunk place that doesn't have a big crowd, and you can get served immediately. That was one of my issues with, I'm not going to say the name of the place, but that was my issues with one of the places last year was their crawfish were decent. They weren't the best. They were decent, but their service was terrible. I don't want to go to a place that has terrible service. I want to go to a place that, because I'm picky about when I get crawfish. If I'm in a big place, I'm going to start with 3 to 4 pounds. I'm not going to do any more than that because that's the only way to keep it warm. If you start eating more than 5 pounds at once, it's going to get cold. Like, I don't care who you are or what you do.
How many people you got?
I'm saying one person. One person. If you can eat 4 pounds and keep them hot, then good on you. But I'm not a person that can. I mean, I can peel pretty fast. Like, I think that I could. I'm with you. I'm with
you. 3 pounds is optimal time
keep
at
it
a
warm,
time. Yeah.
And at the same time, you can work your way down to.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's another PSA advertisement by Cody Gaspard.
Sorry, I don't,
3 pounds of crawfish at a time.
I don't want to sit there and say maximum. That I know. I just, I like to experience things, and I like to talk about them.
Learn from the man's wisdom.
Yeah, like don't think about it however you want, but this is experience. This is not what is it called? It's not opposition. I'm not going to sit there and be biased on everything. I'm going to be open minded about it, and that's just the thing. If you want to eat crawfish, you can get. I mean, you could straight up order 6 pounds of it, but I guarantee when you get to that last 2 pounds, it's going to be chilly. It's not going to be as hot as you want it to be,
and not near as good.
No, it's going to be mushy. It's going to be full of. It's just not going to be enjoyable. 3 to 4 pounds, start out, and then keep them coming.
Go to Gaspard.
We did how many hours? How long are we at?
We're 2 hours, 12 minutes.
It's a pretty long time.
Are we good? You want to keep going?
I mean, I could. Not that
how much more whiskey we got?
Not much. I'm empty and you're empty, so we're out.
Bud?
It's not 50 yet. Yeah. Good first podcast.
I'm thinking it's good. I'm happy.
I'm willing to put this on the internet.
You say that.
Well, it's going whether I like it or not.
Yeah. Hey, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I said at the start of this thing, I couldn't.
We'll get some more people on here.
I know. I couldn't think of anybody else to start this thing off with. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
Absolutely.
You've been absolutely awesome. Like I said, to start this thing. As far as creatively supportive people,
supportive. I can take that. I can take that,
dude. So you want supportive?
Put it on my headstone.
You want supportive people in your life, regardless, right? But supportive people and creatively supportive people.
Well, you gotta have the opposition too. You want to think of things objectively.
Yeah, agreed.
You want to see it objectively, but you want to pursue what you want to pursue.
So basically, there's one person in my life that's excited about me doing podcasts.
Can't be me.
And I'm looking at him.
Oh, goddamn.
Nobody else cares. Nobody else wants it. Nobody else is excited. And granted, there's probably 7 people who are going to listen to this thing, but I don't care. I don't care.
Somebody might get some enjoyment out of it.
They might.
If not, we got some enjoyment out of it.
But I'm going to continue on. I'm going to ask a ton of different people to do this thing.
Like I said.
And if I get them on and I can sit across from people and talk to them in the same manner, right, and do this thing, I'm going to enjoy it myself.
Yeah.
And regardless if anybody listens, it's not costing me any money to put this stuff out. I'm going to go for it. Yeah. It's just time.
Nothing
right?
wrong with that.
So I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
I love you.
For sure. Until
It's
the next
been
one.
awesome. I know. So
Jamie, look that up.
if I'm here come Big Ass Crawfish Bash, we'll do another one.
All right.
We'll do another one.
Live one.
Out there. Exactly.
Not that this isn't live, but this is
we'll be on site.
Yeah, on site. There you go.
We'll be on site.
On site.
All right, guys. Cool. So
appreciate you. Much love.
Get a hold of the show. Email randyleahy.74@yahoo.com. That's RANDYLAHEY74@yahoo.com. And yes, that's
questions or comments.
That's a Trailer Park Boys reference.
Ooh, we didn't even touch
it. I know.
The Canadians.
I know. It's
damn, our other brothers.
I know. It's a Trailer Park Boys reference. Those of you who are fans, you get it.
You know who you are.
You already know. Rest R.I.P. Mr. Leahy.
Oh, R.I.P. Mr. Leahy.
So,
last clink.
Pour me a little.
End of the podcast.
Pour me a little in there, bud. Thank you.
End of the podcast. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. So, Cody, where can the people see you at?
Facebook, Cody Gaspard. Instagram, Cody. What is it? Brody G now?
I'm not on
Brody
Instagram.
G. I think it's
I don't know. Jeeping with dogs.
Yeah, that's on the back burner right now. We're gonna come back to that. Instagram, change up the algorithm a little bit, so the activity is diminished right now. So we'll come back to the Jeeping with Dogs at some point. Me personally, I will be at DRODY_G on Instagram or Cody Gaspard on Facebook. I have a YouTube page, but it's not popular by any means. It's got some BS on it, so I wouldn't really even touch it.
Hey, you're ready for the Lone Star podcast bump, my friend?
Yeah, let's stick with Lone Star. I will obviously be back. There's no way I'm probably going to bring more people to this podcast than we know. Yeah, I'm going to want to introduce people to this and all that stuff. So
yeah, and I'm at Powell_Jared on Twitter, POWELL_JARED. So you can find me there. A few of the people that I'm trying to get on. Well, I don't want to mention my name. I'm shooting out emails. I'm trying to get some Texas country folks on there. I'm trying to get some barbecue folks. I'm trying to get some brewery
more
folks.
Than just some peons.
Yeah.
So trying to aim for the stars here.
Yeah. We're shooting for the stars, and we'll land in the weeds, whatever we can get. But it's a good time. I enjoy this stuff. Like I said, y'all shoot us email, shoot us text, shoot us
give us
podcast,
please,
and let us know what you think.
Let me know if you hated it. I want to know. I don't like you. I'm not a proprietor of the word hate, but I like the opposition. I like people to say, "Hey, I didn't like this." Okay, let me readjust.
Yeah. Long, awkward close out to the show, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Cody, love you, brother.
Hasta luego.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate it. I wanted to give some credit to our intro and exit music for the podcast today. Our intro song was Merry Christmas from the Family by Robert Earl Keen, the great Robert Earl Keen. Seemed to go with Cody's theme of his Christmas or winter river trip that he takes with his family every year. Seems like a lot of fun. So that seemed to tie in there. And our exit song was God Bless Texas by Little Texas. A great tune. You can always listen in. I'm going to try and do songs that tie in with the theme of the show, kind of however it goes. And maybe we'll learn some new stuff, get some new songs in there, introduce people to maybe somebody they've never heard before. So thank y'all for listening in again. Really appreciate it.
Gave 'em a place where they could sent to spread the message. God bless Texas.